Rib will come through and snag up Vanny for a frag as well. So those are your only 2 casualties so far. Nerd Rage has pushed back. Their combo is not very healthy for them, so they've had to go all the way back towards the cliffside. But still, I think we might see another fight here. Zebasai's gonna jump right back in. A great rocket onto Shade. He surfs it onto Cliff, keeps himself alive, but Nerd Rage looking to stay aggressive here as Stark is going to stay right on Duatna's tail, and he's able to pick that up. He gets a 3K on the mid, and that will be Nerd Rage re-aggressing. They should be able to take this point here. Froyo only has 3 up.
And they now have Flippy on that sniper as well. They do only have 1 scout for now, but the next time Zebasai dies, I'd expect to see him switch over to the scout role. Flippy's just taking a look on that left-hand side. Saw the soldier jump past there of Blaze, but he manages to escape with his head intact. Shade and Bool still have their Uber charges. There goes the Uber from Banny. Let's see if he gets as fantastic an Uber as he has been having previously. It's looking a bit better here for Nerd Rage, but Zebasai's the first casualty, and Rib's gone in so deep there, picked up by Clockwork. There's only 4 players alive from Nerd Rage, but they're happy to sit back and allow Flippy a bit of room to snipe. He hasn't hit anything just yet though, and Banny's going to go aggressively onto Tech. They're both about the same health. Flippy missing another shot there, and as Nerd Rage get their spawns, they're going to set up to take this point straight back. They do have a tiny time advantage.
And Zebasai did come back up on Scout, still Flippy on Sniper, so he's going to be trying to find some sort of a pick to open things up for Nerd Rage. Tech is starting to aggress. Zebasai and Stark actually getting a bit aggressive in through main as well. Maybe create a little bit of space for the rest of Nerd Rage to move through here. They're just sitting behind Rock at the moment. Stark actually taking a good bit of damage, but still no frags as of yet. Nerd Rage is slow to move here. Flippy's very hurt. Tech is hurt as well. They need to back up before they get crunched on. Clockwork is going to take out Tech, but Flippy gets the body shot to return the frag right back for Nerd Rage. So both teams down a player. Nerd Rage still sitting back at the moment, just waiting for Flippy to open this up.
Yeah, they are. They're just waiting on their key player there, Flippy, who's sniping around that bottom entrance. But Froyo Tech are not really showing themselves. Duatna's putting a little bit of spam out. It's possible, but Shade's keeping himself well behind this rock. Here comes the Ubercharge out aggressively from them, actually. They figure that they have to be aggressive with these Ubercharge trades when they're running a sniper and sat back so passively, but that's given Nerd Rage a lot of room across the point. Look at the health on Clockwork, and Duatna, Ashdown so weak as well. Stark's on a 6K at the moment in this life. Flippy manages to pick up Banny, and that was a bad trade there from Froyo Tech. They used their Uber aggressively, but it meant that they had a much worse one than Nerd Rage. It gave them all of that position. Perhaps Froyo would have been better off just waiting, watching and waiting, ticking down the time. But they felt like they had to make a move, because if you wait too long, Flippy's surely going to get a pick.
Yeah, you got to try and shut that down if you can. Didn't work out too well that time for Froyo. Nerd Rage able to regain control of this point here. Time is pretty even. Nerd Rage is only behind just about 20 seconds or so. Froyo is looking to re-push this point, though. Both teams almost up on this Uber, and Froyo is very close to capping the point. Nerd Rage tries to go in and stand on it, too. Prevent that, but he gets dropped. Bull getting dropped by Blaze. That is a huge play. I'm not even sure if that was coordinated spam or what, or a bomb, but regardless, he gets dropped. The rest of Nerd Rage is going to have to back up here. They lost 3 players, and Shade now is going to have a bit of advantage to work with, but still big stuff from Blaze.
Yeah, and he was 8 health there. He was 8 health and just hiding from the entirety of Nerd Rage behind them. Just came out 1 direct rocket. There's the first real headshot that we've seen from Flippy on Sniper, starting to make things, get things going here. Clockwork goes down as well. Banny's quite weak, and the rest of Nerd Rage very, very healthy, so they should be able to take this point. They're 30 seconds behind on Viaduct here. But Flippy really hasn't got into the game yet. He hasn't been hitting his shots. He really needs to if Nerd Rage want to get into this. Stark's playing very aggressively, but will get caught by Blaze and Ash. Just a little too far ahead, and he has a very long spawn there compared to everybody else on the map. Blaze going to be moving in from that left-hand side as well, Gex.
He is. Froyo's definitely looking to push forward here. As you said, Blaze is pushed up, and Froyo Tech just stuffing them right back into the cliff side. Flippy did manage to get a body shot on Banny to take him out of it here, so I would expect to see Nerd Rage push in here. Yes, they get a couple more frags as well. Ash and Duatna both go down. They have an Uber exchange, but Nerd Rage certainly looking a bit better here, but it looks like we have a pause right in the middle of our Uber fight here. I guess in real time they decide to pause it. So
Yeah.
Anyway, definitely looks like Nerd Rage is coming out on top of this one, though.
Yeah, Nerd Rage are really doing quite well in this Uber fight. They managed to pick off a lot of players, and Shade was playing quite passively and decided to drop Duotna instead of having a worse Uber charge. So he does have it slightly better, but he's only tagged up with Clockwork, really. It's only the 2 of them alive against the 5 players from Nerd Rage. You'll see the timer ticking down at the top as well. Don't worry, that's not happening in actual fact. It's just a bug with the pause. FroyoTech have not paused the game and won. It's just a bug. It will reset to the normal time afterwards. I believe they had about a minute left as well. I'm not quite sure what it was on. Was it less than that? More like 30 seconds?
Yeah, I think it was around there. I didn't catch exactly how much
I think FroyoTech had the advantage in terms of time, even so, but a little on pause here, and we will see that Clockwork's trying to dive in deep with the remains of that Uber charge. He got onto Bull, actually. He's managed to take him down and does die to Rib. Tech's gone in really aggressively, though. Nice air shot there from Banny to take down the pocket of Nerd Rage. Flippy is up on the sniper and just having a look on that right-hand side. Tries to hit the body shot, but actually misses it. Saw Shade's medigun hanging around on that right-hand side, though. That's what he's looking for.
Nerd Rage is looking around a bit to move forward here. Rib getting a bit aggressive. He's throwing his sticks across the point. But Froyo still holding strong on this one. Tech was able to get Blaze. Flippy's going to find Duotna as well. That should open things up nicely for Nerd Rage to push forward now as they move themselves onto the point. Banny is in from behind, though. He was able to take down Bull. Tech exchange with him. Flippy finding yet another one onto Clockwork, so they lost Bull, but they did get the point, Nerd Rage, so they'll knock down a little more time on this one.
Yeah, they will. They'll be ticking the timer down, but Shade has his Uber charge up, and Bull is nowhere near. He's only just got it, so he's starting to move forward, the players from Nerd Rage. The pause was at the end of this round as well, but we'll see who comes out on top at the end. The Uber charge is going to come out of FroyoTech. They're leading things down the left-hand side, but I don't think they'll catch anybody. Banny's going in really deep here. Rib's managed to find 2. Ash and Duotna both go down there to the stickies of Rib, but it doesn't matter at all as FroyoTech managed to take that round just based off pushing everybody back out of the point. They cap it off 1-0 to FroyoTech.
They started off with that 1-round win, though. Nerd Rage wasn't looking too bad. They need Flippy to heat up just even a little bit more. He's deciding to run Sniper to the mid this time, and he's going to find Banny right off the start of it. That's dealt with him afterwards. Still unable to find anything, but Bull went down to the loose cannon of Duotna, and he's actually been able to find 2 here. He got Bull and Rib with a double donk here, and Banny gets blasted up. Tech just missing that, but he will bomb straight back in here to try and find something. And Shade actually getting the arrow on the Starkey, but Froyo should be able to actually cap up on this point here first.
Yeah, apologies for the visual problems on the stream at the moment. We'll get that back right with you. You just saw a headshot there instantly as Blaze got domed by Flippy, but yeah, the situation is that FroyoTech have just managed to win that mid-fight and cap off the point. So now Nerd Rage are going to be going aggressively. Look at Tech bombing in there, but Banny's giving him a huge air shot. What a play, and everybody else on Nerd Rage getting mopped up as well. Fantastic stuff from them. And Bull's going to scurry back all the way to spawn. Flippy gets a sick air headshot, though, onto Banny. Very nice by him as well. Trying to just snap off some no-scopes as well. The no-scope body shots for 50 damage as he runs away. But great stuff from Banny there with that fantastic air shot, and they shut down that aggressive suicide play with ease.
This game so far has turned into be a little frag movie here. I love it. So let's see Nerd Rage. They have the Uber, so does FroyoTech. They have a little bit of time on the point. Nerd Rage does. Blaze is going to get Tech inside of the connector, though, and Bull actually took a pretty good rocket. Needs to be careful not to drop this one here. He's forced to use it as Banny aggresses onto him, but none of Nerd Rage seems like they're ready for the push, and Shade's still hanging on to that Uber, just pops it off now, but they have such a better Uber. Rib is going to get eaten alive there, so is Bull. Zebasai goes down to Banny as well. They just get crushed there from a terrible Uber, and Starkey was able to get in and get Ash, but still disastrous push there from Nerd Rage, and Froyo is just ticking down on this time.
Yeah, Tech got caught in, and Bull's only just respawned. They don't really have a significant Uber disadvantage. They should commit to this fight fully with Flippy sniping up top, and the rest of Nerd Rage should really be trying to go aggressive, as aggressively as they possibly can, because they haven't capped off the point at any point there. Oh, the two-shot from Clockwork onto Zebasai, and now everybody's collapsing onto Nerd Rage. They've got really bad position, and Froyotech are coming so far forward. Stark finds the frag onto Blaze, though, and he's going to try and get onto Dewanner or Clockwork, potentially. Oh, he manages to find the frag onto Dewanner as Ash shuts him down. Clockwork drops as well to some spam from Tech, and so suddenly things look a lot better for Nerd Rage, but they still are 2 minutes behind and have yet to cap at all.
They're trying to get on. They still haven't gotten it. Ash is lurking around. He's gotten two. Got Flippy and Zebasai. Froyo just re-aggressing right back onto them. I don't know. Nerd Rage is just sitting back in this corner right now. They're trying to move towards this point. They have a good bit of cap time on it. And they also have a full Uber to work with here. They need to get a cap down here and start ticking away on some time. Froyo knows they're at a disadvantage. They're sitting back, but Nerd Rage has lost two players. They're forced to use the Uber. Ash gets eaten up by Starkey there, but they still have yet to cap this point. They're finally going to get it now, but I mean, Froyo, still yet they don't get it. I mean, Froyo's about to have an absolutely clean wash of this round here without losing any time. This is...
That's insane. It really is. Nerd Rage have struggled on this.
Oh my
nice
goodness.
air shot onto Zebasai, coming out from Blaze there. Flippy and Bull desperately going to try and get some cap time, delay things for a little longer, but Shade's almost got his Uber as well. This is not going to be good here. It's surely 2-0 here for Froyotech, and it is on Viaduct, which is one of Nerd Rage's best maps. It's also one of Froyotech's best maps, though, and they are just outplaying them here. The sniper not really having an effect at all, though. Flippy not hitting his shots, not playing at the same level we are used to seeing him at, and instead he switched off to Scout for this mid. Let's have a listen to the Froyotech comms if we can for this mid fight.
On them. Soldier right. Soldier coming back.
Soldier right side behind us.
I'm stuck behind him. I'm dead. You gotta get out. Just get out. I'm dead. Scouts on point. 60 health.
Back up and build this. Back up and build it. We'll repush right now.
We should have more
Nice stuff from Nerd Rage to be able to take it forward, but Froyotech were able to back Shade out of there. They're going to have their Uber charge coming forward. But Clockwork gets caught by a sticky trap from Rib. That was really far forwards on the cliff there. Caught out the Wonder Scout for Froyotech. Now they're going to be moving forwards, attempting to recap this point. Nerd Rage already in this round have done better than they did the entire of the previous one.
Both teams are going to pop off these Ubers, though. Tech is trying to send it forward, pretty much a solo onto him, and he will continue to move here. And he was able to actually pick up onto Ash here, but that's the only frag they got. Flippy and Rib are both very hurt, and Rib's actually going to go down to Dewatna here as he continues to ring off these loose cannon shots, but Zebasai did get Blaze here. Nerd Rage has the point for the moment, but they're down 3 players. Froyo definitely looking to re-aggress here, but they're actually getting frags right back. Flippy and Stark both combining here to pick up quite a few. That leaves Froyo with just a few up. They're getting their respawns, but for the time being, Nerd Rage does retain the point.
Dewatna hit a really nice double dunk there onto Tech as well to take him down, as him and Zebasai still on that soldier class, leaving the scouts to Stark and Flippy. Stark stuck behind there though, and he's making a lot of room, but nobody is capitalizing on it. Nerd Rage choosing not to transition into any kind of a forward hold, wanting to stay back. They've managed to pick up Clockwork, who was doing pretty much the same thing as Stark was there, neither of them having much success. But the Uber charge just now come out from Nerd Rage. Tech's going to lead that one forwards, but they're not going to catch anybody. Shade doesn't even have his Uber charge yet, but has not been pressured whatsoever. Now the counter Uber going to come out from Froyotech on the top right-hand side. Banny leading them forward, along with Ash. They've actually dropped their pocket, but they managed to find Rib, Zebasai, and Tech. This is fantastic for Froyotech. They're going to be able to recap the point, or cap it. Actually, they are only just now ticking down their own time. So that was fairly nice from Nerd Rage. 2 minutes knocked off the clock.
Yeah, they got a lot of time on that first hold that they had, but still, we've seen this before where they've knocked down quite a bit of time and then just can't quite seem to get the point back. We saw it yesterday, I believe it was, when they were playing this map. So it's definitely not out of it yet, Froyotech, though. It's a good start from Nerd Rage as they look as though they want to re-push this point. 3 players on their team are just so hurt, though, on the side of Nerd Rage. The health is just absolutely terrible from them. Bull is getting quite hurt as well. They need to back up here, but Dewatna already getting 2 frags with those stickies. Rib was actually able to get Shade, though, which is a very big pick on the side of Nerd Rage, but they had also lost Bull, so they exchange on the medics. Failed attempt of a push there from Nerd Rage, but they will have to reset here and take another crack at it. They do have better respawn, so they just want to take this straight on into the point here. Starky takes that 1v1 with Ash, and he will win it. So Nerd Rage, after the re-aggression here, is able to pick up this point again.
It's a very good job that Rib managed to get onto Shade there, because Dewonta actually dropped Bull. Bull was trying to hold on to his Ubercharge for a little too long. Dewonta gets the drop, so that return frag onto Shade was absolutely crucial. It set them up for a very even fight here. They're both just exchanging spam. The health better for FroyoTech, and they have a pick advantage, but it could go either way just based on a few crucial shots. Tech does die. Ash down as well. Rib's going to bomb in, attempting to get somebody. His Everside follows as well, but gets air shot by Blaze and Dewonta, I think, there.
Oh, it just absolutely denied. And, well, Nerd Rage got the point back for a second, but Froyo quickly recapping it. Both teams have an Uber to work with now. Nerd Rage moving over to the left-hand side. Blaze was over there trying to contest it, but he takes quite a bit of damage here. So all of Nerd Rage moving up through the left area for the most part. Scouts moving in from the right, and Zebasai bombing in from behind. Both teams using these Ubers at the moment, but Zebasai actually got taken out. Flippy found Tuatna, though. That's quite a big pick for Nerd Rage here, and they have slightly better positioning at the moment. At least Tech gets knocked way up into the sky, and Ash finds 2 frags for his troubles as well. Nerd Rage capping the point, but Froyo looking to re-aggress this right away here. Rib is very hurt, needs to take some heals. Nerd Rage is just forced to move back once again. They still are in the lead, at least for time right now, but it's still very tight.
It absolutely is, and you can definitely see FroyoTech coming back into it as well. Zebasai's bombs behind have really not opened anything up for their team so far, but he's managed to do a fair bit of damage to Banny there. Actually gets a frag on Clockwork as well. Flippy's in with him, gets double donked, but has taken down Shade. So heal advantage, Uber advantage here for Nerd Rage, and only 30 seconds left on the clock. You can see this going 2-1 and then taking a round here, but FroyoTech will not want to make it easy for them. Bull is going to have that Ubercharge right now. He did drop previously to Dewonta, but he'll be hoping that he didn't, or doesn't, sorry, do that again. But they were in this situation last night as well, where they couldn't possibly lose the round. They had the Ubercharge with 10 seconds left and still managed to lose it. FroyoTech now scattering as the Ubercharge comes in. Rib's going to bomb in, attempt to lock everybody off.
Beautiful.
Does get the frag on Shade, but does die. So now they just need to hold the players from FroyoTech off. Blaze coming in, he's going to get taken out, and there's the first round for Nerd Rage. They managed to do it on Viaduct, but the score is still 2-1. FroyoTech are in the lead. They can afford to drop around here. All they need is one more to take this map.
That's right, just one more, but Nerd Rage won't let them have that easily. They finally get themselves onto the board here. Hopefully they can continue with that momentum and tie things up, but it's going to take a lot of work indeed. Zebasai is already getting hunted down by Blaze. They both exchange with each other. Froyo has a lot of positioning on Nerd Rage right now. They're just standing all over this point, but Nerd Rage is trying to re-aggress it here. A couple of players, actually, Duatna and Clockwork, both very hurt on the side of Froyo. Clockwork goes down, but Bull gets taken out by Duatna once again here. Banny's on this cliffside, and he's going to be jumping around, actually able to get Techies over by China, but the combo is actually moving back at the moment. Duatna gets the ham onto Stark, and Blaze takes out Flippy. Froyo getting frags all over the place here. It's just Zeb and Bull up at the moment. Froyo will get this point first.
And crucially, Bull took a ton of spam at the beginning of that, and then Banny jumped in to finish off that frag, managed to get another one, possibly 2 as well. Did Banny, great stuff from him, playing a very aggressive pocket on these Viaduct mids. But yeah, Bull went down, so now the Suicide is going to come in. Nice air shot onto Tech. He's not going to have any luck here, but Zebasai's in. Oh, that was so close to hitting the air shot and dropping Shade. But instead, the slight wiggle in the air is going to airstrike Shade just away from the rocket and into the safety of the cliff area. He still has that Uber. Bull's about to get it. Stark's still behind. He's making a ton of space here. If Nerd Rage just want to push in, there's nobody forwards. They can essentially cap this point for free and give themselves a great position to take the Uber trade from.
It looks like Froyo is going to try and move right back up with this, but that was a great play from Stark to create that space. Blaze goes down to Zebasai, and he is going to get that respawn. Now, Zebasai actually grabs a second one. They do exchange Ubers onto the point here, but Nerd Rage backing up just a bit, and Froyo's able to move straight into them here. Banny actually goes down as they extend forward. Shade's going to get caught out as well by Zebasai, who's on a 4K on this life, and And Nerd Rage is going to keep this point. Zebasai gets blasted up into the air. He does go down, but Flippy finished off Blaze there, so Nerd Rage keeping this point right now, and Bull will be up in just a second for their heals.
Yeah, they absolutely will. They're going to have another team fight in just a second. Can we have a listen as well to the Nerd Rage comms, because I want to see how they're approaching this, whether the tension's getting to them.
2 soldiers left.
Wow, too aggressive.
Jump right. Turn point. Turn point. 150. I'm gonna scout there. Scout the 100 there. Nice.
What's going to get you?
Shield. We have 2 down
I'll
here.
take a
guys.
sim.
Okay, I'm spawning him 2. That must spamming us with that. Spawning 1. They're trying to push us out.
65.
They're just coming left.
0 1 down, let's go. They have no clockwork. Go.
Come on point. Medic on point.
Solar connector.
I'm gonna jump in.
Yeah, solar
I'm in.
connector. Solar connector.
Solid
Point. Cap pointed.
I got down. They got
Solar
60 there.
left,
Fine,
solar
let's
left.
start.
Ah, he's so low, that shot.
We lost 2.
Oh, we got point. We
Get
got point. We
point,
can go back.
Got 40. Okay, go back. I'm spawning 5. They can block with Uber.
Yeah. I'll mono on tech. Rip, you don't point there, right?
Yeah. You bomb.
Let's get down.
Nice.
Medic's still stuck on right. Medic's on the right. You can bomb.
left.
Left.
I use
Solid click there.
And then another Uber exchange on the point here as Nerd Rage struggle really to take things off Froyotech. Froyotech have lost control of the point, but they're still in the lead in terms of time, and they're getting the better of a lot of these team fights as well. Great focus fire, but Nerd Rage sounds so focused.
They do. They really do. The comms are sounding great. Flippy is back up on Sniper at the moment. Nerd Rage kind of caught back into the corner here. Stark was able to grab Duatna, but Nerd Rage is just sitting back right now as they're trying to see if Flippy maybe can work something, but Stark and Rip both moving forward. Tech is going to join the fight as well. Stark actually finds Blaze here. All of Nerd Rage pushing right back onto this point. Clockwork Ash go down. They recap it right away. They should be able to take a lead in time here, but it's very neck and neck on this one.
Yeah, Flippy's running the Sniper as well. He's really not had much luck whatsoever so far, but he's going to go up onto this cliff area and see if he can get an angle over on the left. The only player around there is Blaze. See if he can catch him. The rest of Froyo approaching from the cliffside, and they're going to use their Uber charge already straight onto Flippy. They're shutting down the Sniper every single time here, and Nerd Rage can do nothing to protect him, but they have managed to find Shade. Banny and Blaze, on the other hand, are wreaking havoc on the flank. They managed to take down Stark. A nice shot there from Banny again onto Tech. The guy is on fire. Flippy and Rib, the only two really left alive, and they are not in any position to do anything here. Froyotech going to be able to take control of the point. They're about 30 seconds behind in terms of time. There is time for another Uber charge, but they decided to run crits, Gex.
They have indeed. They're going for something big here. They should be able to just edge out that Uber that Shade is trying to build up as well. So we'll see if they can get it, if it will work for Nerd Rage here. They're trying to push this point just a little bit. They're prodding towards it, but they're going to have a beautiful play here. Blaze decides to come bomb in, and he takes Bull out of it right away. Any advantage that Nerd Rage was going to get with that Crits Krieg absolutely denied. Nerd Rage trying to salvage something out of this one, but they're just getting taken out one by one here. Clockwork's grab to Rib should go down shortly, I would think, to Clockwork, as he's going to try and chase this frag down. And
they potentially have time for one last push. If they group up together and go without Rib, potentially, they really don't have time to wait for Rib. He'll have to come in afterwards, but they are aggressing now from the cliffside. Flippy's going to lead it in. This is do or die here on this map for Nerd Rage. They are going in, but the Uber charge is popped off from Froyotech, and Banny's going to be able to take down Bull easily. The fight is still happening around the point, but they don't have much cap time. There's not going to be very much overtime here for Nerd Rage. Only Tech and Stark left alive. It was 2v2 at the end there, but they couldn't quite do it. Not enough overtime. The spawners didn't come into it, and Froyotech take the first map 3-1.
Oh man, I think even if they could have stood on the point, those last two guys had just so little health anyway. I don't think they would have won that 2v2. It was a good effort, but it is 3-1 in the end there. That solidifies Froyotech's spot now in the grand finals.
Look at this fantastic DM play from the Froyotech players. I mean, there's just air shots coming out left, right, and center. Here's a highlight from Flippy as well, but I didn't feel like he was really doing as well as he normally does. That was the air headshot that he got. Yeah. That was a very good one, but he really wasn't having an impact on the game at all.
No, not as much as you would expect out of him. If he's going to run sniper that much, he's got to make a bigger impact. And
Yeah, I think so.
Just wasn't the case here today. But still, FroyaTech, as we've said it a million times, still just looking in top form. Banny specifically was just hitting some unreal air shots that game.
Yeah, he's going crazy, and he's aggressing into the flank all the time, and people just aren't expecting it. The flank again, picking out Stark in some of these situations. Their Uber fights weren't as the last time these two teams faced, it was on Viaduct as well in the group stages, and every single one of FroyaTech's Ubers was a lot better than Nerd Rage's. We didn't see that so much today, but they still had the advantage in quite a lot of them. Banny doing a lot of work for his team. Let's have a look at the log of that game as well, and see what we can get from it. The standout performance there, maybe Clockwork once again is going to top frag on the Viaduct games. He absolutely loves that map. Ash not putting in as much of a performance, but the key fact for him compared to the scouts on the side of Nerd Rage is that he really wasn't dying very often. Only 13 deaths. He's playing that very pockety style, and it means that Shade's surviving a lot more as well. Only 6 deaths compared to Bull's 12, and Shade's just able to get out of a lot of situations. It gives them the Uber advantage, and they also have the heals to then push straight out with. They're not waiting for anybody to respawn. They're not having any problems in that sense.
Yeah, it's something that Shade does so well, has such a good read on all these situations. Plus, he has a really tight pocket around him that helps keep him alive, but he does so well at just reading those situations to get himself out.
Look at the air shots there from the FroyaTech soldiers as well, 14 and 11. It's just insane.
God.
I mean, that was so good. The damage coming out of those guys as well, fantastic. It's great stuff from both of them. So we are going to be moving over to our second map, which is going to be CP Process here for Nerd Rage versus FroyaTech. It's one of Nerd Rage's best maps. They played against Ascent on it yesterday, I believe, and managed to beat them fairly convincingly. We'll see how they come up against FroyaTech with a Flippy perhaps not as on form as you would expect. He had a fantastic line at I-49. I think everyone expects him to perform very well, but he's just not quite feeling it at the moment as much as he would like. We've also got some nifty stat sheets as well to have a look at.
Yeah, we can go ahead and bring those up while we wait for the next map to come on through here. Let's see if they work here. It's seeing if it still hasn't switched over yet, at least in maps anyway. But we do have some really cool stat sheets. You guys have seen them before, some of our online casts. Trying to implement them here as well. Meant to get them in before the last game started, but they went quite quickly. So we'll try and get those stats to you here as well. See maybe if we can bring those up. But they seem a bit finicky with us once
having
again.
a little bit of a problem with them just now. So we'll perhaps get them up another time. The stats not quite working out for us there, but that's. That doesn't matter. We'll get them sorted for one of the later games. It's essentially just running through the statistics for the players and the average damage per minute and things like that, and how they're all comparing against each other. But one of the things which isn't going to be reflected in the stats for stuff like that is the team atmosphere and the way that each team is kind of approaching these games. Whenever we've listened to the team comms of FroyaTech, I'm always incredibly impressed at how clear and fluid their comms are.
Very.
They have played with each other for a very long time. They have a lot of cohesion. They know exactly what each member of their team is going to be doing at every situation. And so they're able to communicate other smaller things because they have the assumption that the big things are completely covered. And that's fine because they all have each other's backs. The focus fire is incredible. They just call specific targets. They call exactly where everybody is on the map. And they are all completely on the same page. Nerd Rage sounded very focused, very intense, but the natural ability to back each other up, the kind of fluid, cohesive play, just not quite as good as FroyaTech. Whenever they're going for the aggression, you can see them splitting off into kind of different groups. They're either trying to take down certain targets at once, or one person's going in slightly ahead of the other. Whereas for FroyaTech, it really is very, very good. Whenever you're watching the soldiers bomb in, if it's Banny leading with his buff, he'll go in, he'll try and do as much damage as he can as soon as he dies. I mean, literally, as soon as he dies, Blaze is in there with more rockets. It's very, very well synced up. And every one of their plays is just timed to perfection. it's working out brilliantly for them.
Yeah,
And we'll have to
it's-
see whether they can pull it off on process as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, it definitely is showing. These guys still have yet to lose throughout group stages as well as the knockout stages for Froyotech. So we are heading on to process. If we need it, you can see it up on the screen. We will head on over to Snake Water. Will be tough, though, I think, regardless for Nerd Rage to try and pull this one out here. I think we may have some sort of a, not sure if we're switching servers or not, because I see we're still on Product, at least on the server that we were on. So we're trying to figure that out as we work it out here. But still, I mean, do you think, I asked it before in the last game with Froyotech. I mean, is this said and done here? Can Nerd Rage take it? I mean, the Froyo just looks so good here.
They do look incredible, but I think Froyotech are very, very good at Viaduct, and I think they, I think the difference in how they approach Viaduct has always been a classically American map. They're so good at it. Right. They practice it a lot. They are very cohesive on that map. They know exactly what to do. For the Europeans, I think it has become a little more of a sniper-friendly map, and if your sniper's not hitting the shots like Flippy perhaps wasn't on that map particularly, then they can put themselves at a bit of a disadvantage the way that they play. It's slightly more passive. They're not playing the cap time quite as well as some of the European teams. Some of the American teams. So I think when it comes to process, it's much more of anybody's game, and I think Nerd Rage have more of an advantage on it than Froyotech do. I think Nerd Rage will potentially run it to a few of the mid fights. Their sniper, even though he hasn't been that on form. Yeah. I think they'll still attempt to run the sniper to the mids on a fair few of them, because that's a strategy that's worked out well for them in previous times. They've had a lot of success with it. Yeah. I think they ran that against Ascent as well. In fact, I think they picked up 8 mids in a row against Ascent on process. Their mids are fairly strong. Yeah.
So I know even some of the online games that we did too. I mean, I know this is a different ball game, but we've seen Flippy run those run that sniper to mid before and just do some crazy stuff on process with it. So I would definitely expect that to be, at least they'll run it. We'll see if he can hit the shots. But
we'll see if it works or not. When he's on his game, it's just such a massive boost for them. They can just destroy anybody. But it's such a risky factor, because if you put him out there and he doesn't hit the shots, he's not so much a detriment to the team, but you're missing the scout presence.
Right.
And so with a sniper of the caliber of Flippy, especially with the performance and the level that he's been playing at online recently, it's just been fantastic. They've just been able to waltz over everybody because they're just hitting shot after shot after shot.
Right.
It's impossible to stop him when he's on form. Unfortunately, here today, he doesn't seem to be on form just yet.
I was going to say, we haven't quite seen that form out of him yet. We know it's there somewhere.
But in the game of Nerd Rage versus TLR, he did have some incredible shots, actually. There was a great shot on Sunshine that I was just watching over on Stream 2 while we had our small break in between the upper bracket 3 and the upper bracket final. I was having a look at some of the highlight reels that some of the production crew had made of Flippy sniping on Sunshine. And he was really hitting the shots there. He got a fantastic one. So he does have the form inside of him, whether he's just maybe not feeling it. Maybe the LAN atmosphere is getting to him. Who knows? But he needs to bring something out of the bag, I think, if Nerd Rage wants to take this and move on to the grand final, because, of course, that is what they're playing for here. Yep. They're playing for a spot in the grand final and do not get knocked down to the lower bracket. This is Froyotech versus Nerd Rage, the two best teams so far in this tournament.
Yeah, and Nerd Rage is somebody that we've seen do great online. We were questioning at points, whether we would see the same performance coming into this, but they've been playing great so far. It's just a matter of trying to take down Froyotech. Really, it's nobody really seems to be able to quite be able to surpass them. It's
maybe they need to talk to TLR. A draw would be fine. Maybe they can look at it in the golden cap.
That's a good point. Yeah, because that's the best game that anybody's been able to put up against Froyo so far is a draw against them. It was 1-1, right?
Yeah, it was
in
a
the
1-1
dying
game.
seconds of the game. Yeah, you were casting
on Granary with Froyotech versus TLR. It was an insane match, really. But TLR somehow managed to pull it out of the bag. So Nerd Rage, I think, really can do it. I think they're a little bit of a step above TLR. They did knock them out in that in the previous upper round 3 that was casted over on Stream 2. So they are of a caliber slightly above TLR on their good days, but they really need to be playing very well to be able to take this next map and advance it to the third and final map, which is Snakewater, I believe. We're
yes.
going to Snake after this.
Snakewater.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if we get past Process here, if Nerd Rage manage to take Process, we're going off to Snakewater, where the team going into the grand final will be decided. The first team going into the grand final. We've still got the lower bracket to go through.
But we are going into it now. That sound means that we are about to get things kicked off here. Nerd Rage versus FroyoTech, map 2 in this upper bracket finals. Winner of this series goes on to the grand finals. We are saying FroyoTech is already up 1-0. They won Viaduct. Blaze going in for a huge bomb onto Rib right away. Very, very fast rollout. He's able to take him out of this immediately. Zebasai is going to go down to Clockwork as well. The rest of Nerd Rage already out of the mid. They knew that once Rib went down, it was bad news, so they're back onto second and into lobby. And that is a great start for Froyo here.
It absolutely is. That Devilman pick crucial for the advancement of their team all the way through the choke, particularly as well. But there's the crit streak coming out from them. They haven't found anybody there though. Rib Sticky's not finding a single person, and that set them up really badly because now they have a full Uber disadvantage into last. FroyoTech actually were really struggling pushing Process last before when they were even Uber versus non-Uber. We'll see if Nerd Rage can hold on here as they push in from the top right, the right-hand side.
They're in right now. All of Nerd Rage is sitting up top. Bull doing a good job of dodging and delaying as long as he could, but eventually he goes down here. He's been the only frag that Froyo has gotten so far, and actually now Tech is going to go down to Banny, who's just about to drop in from behind him. He goes down, but the frags in the dying seconds there was just able to wipe Nerd Rage off of the map there. So Froyo taking a very quick 1-0 lead. Do you like that call to run crits to the mid like that from Nerd Rage?
I think it's risky. It was it would have been good if they had committed to the mid fight perhaps, or maybe even hit anybody on second. But it just went really, really terribly for them.
Oh, here comes bombs right away. Zebasai, very quick rollout. Got onto that health pack, but Banny's going to try his hand at something. Flippy denies that one. Starkey's going to deny Blaze as well. So already Blaze and Banny, soldiers of FroyoTech, out of the fight here. Nerd Rage pushing straight in towards their choke point here. They already have Zebasai and Stark both coming in from the IT side to try and cut them off maybe, but they're ready for it. Tech gets Clockwork though. He's actually going to grab up Duatna, and it's just Ash and Shade that made it out, but the respawns are coming through from Froyo. Nerd Rage keeping up this aggression quite nicely, and Ash should go down here. Zebasai picks that up.
Ash dodging around, and Tech got 2 frags with a single rocket there as he was trying to get onto Duatna, and got Clockwork as well in the with collateral damage. And now as they rush out, Clockwork instantly dies off the spawn. Nerd Rage are going to come in from the right-hand side. They don't even need their Uber charges. Neither of the Uber charges coming into play there as Nerd Rage very aggressively tie it up 1-1.
It's a great response from Nerd Rage. They had an awesome mid, just great aggression. They continued into second, and it's excellent for them to be able to pick up that round there.
Yeah, Rib is sticking the health kit every time here, anticipating Blaze going aggressively onto the health kit. Instead, he's not. But Banny with a huge bomb in there onto Bull, sink the rockets. Nothing that he could do there. Fantastic stuff from him. And Nerd Rage forced to go aggressive in an attempt to equalize the heal situation. But everyone from Froyo just eating up that aggression in the choke, and Shade is still on half health even after everyone sacks into him.
They threw everything, I think, but the kitchen sink. They may have even thrown the kitchen sink there trying to grab that, but it's just they couldn't quite get it. So Shade stays alive, which is great for Froyo because they're going to have pretty much full advantage now. They're capping up on this midpoint. They're going to roll straight on through. Should be able to take second. Absolutely no problem at all. And Nerd Rage doesn't really have much of a choice. They've already set themselves up at last. Stark is trying to build a sentry at the moment. Flippy is going to be up on Sniper. No big surprise there, but Froyo now, who's on second, getting ready to set themselves up for a last push here. Potential to take a 2-1 lead as well.
There absolutely is. Stark and Flippy will be trying to deny them that 2-1 lead, and FroyoTech have a 100% win record with their pushes so far on this map, and they've taken down the sentry and the engineer instantly. Stark wouldn't have minded if the sentry went down, but he wanted to change class after it did. Banny's going to go in really aggressive onto Bool and Tech there. He actually finds Bool, and he's looking for Tech as well. Tech's really weak here. Great stuff from Banny. It's only Flippy and Rib left alive. Rib's going to try and get some stickies on the point, delay things until the spawners can come in. Here comes Stark and Zebasai though, and Froyotech may have outstayed their welcome. They need to block the point and then get everybody from Froyotech shoved out these doors. Nice double dunk there from Rib onto Duana, takes him down. Great stuff. And they have, for now, managed to hold off the invaders. But look at the Uber advantage here for Shade.
Yeah, they'll be able to push right back in here, Shade and company. Once they get all of their respawns here, they don't need to rush it, but it looks like they want to just move straight through anyway. Banny finds Tech here. They're going to come in. They pop off this Uber onto Banny, and they are finding the frags. It's just 3 players up. Zebasai tries to come back in, but he is absolutely annihilated. Flippy tried to save it. It's not going to happen, and that is now a 2-1 lead for Froyotech.
They are looking good. Even these last pushes cannot be denied here. Nerd Rage's defense not quite as good as some of them that we've seen on this last point of process. Not going for the heavy. Again, Rib on this mid-fight, sticking up. He's scared of the aggression from Blaze. Does not want to get caught by it whatsoever. But it's Banny going in really aggressive from the other side. He's done so much damage, and the rest of Froyotech are going to follow it up. Rib goes down, Stark as well, and everyone else so weak. Look at the health on Tech, 5 health. This is horrific. They just cannot stop that Banny bomb, and he's doing so much damage, so much work with it.
Yeah, last mid he was able to get able to get Bull right off the start. That time he did the damage, as you said, and now it's Froyotech trying to just close straight in onto these guys inside of lobby as Tech got taken out by Duatna here. Flippy's just going to go full aggressive here. He does find Duatna, at least shot those stickies and then got him, but both teams have the Uber. Bull, luckily for Nerd Rage, was able to make it out of the mid that time, but Flippy loses that 1v1 with Clockwork, and now Nerd Rage is down 2, but they are getting the respawns. Froyo looking like they want to make some sort of a move, at least into lobby, but they're waiting for Duatna to come back up.
Yeah, they're going to wait for that, but oh no, they look like they want to push from this right-hand side. Banny's actually going to sack in, I think. No, just trying to make a little bit of room for his scouts to then go aggressive. But Clockwork and Ash both get taken down. This is an opportunity here for Nerd Rage really to try and get outside. Flippy's made them a ton of room, jumping and dodging around, smacking people with that hit scan damage, pushing them back into the choke. Doing a great job of opening this second point up for his team as Nerd Rage move towards the choke. And think about taking an Uber charge fight around that area. Blaze is watching the PC as well. There's only really Stark in there. I'm not sure who's going to be the first people to make the move. Could be the flank colliding.
Blaze and Clockwork were both looking in there, but they decide to back off, take some buffs, maybe just a bit. Nerd Rage not really.
Oh, look at this. Flippy's gone all the way back to spawn, and he's actually switched over to Sniper. Froyotech will be expecting this because they saw him on Scout just before that. Blaze and Clockwork both went down super weak in the PC as well. But Nerd Rage can't finish the frag, and they're just going to wait for Flippy to see if he can get something to open things up for them. He's having a look at PC, but there's nobody from Froyotech in there, nobody even close, really. I think Blaze may end up transitioning over there, but no, it's going to be Clockwork, maybe? No, Flippy's just going to sack that and move over to choke where he can get a good angle on everybody.
Oh, Blaze is coming in for the bomb right now to try and grab Flippy, and indeed he does. That's easy pickings for Blaze, and now the rest of Froyo looking like they want to move on through here. Banny's going to bomb in, create a little bit of space. Clockwork did go down to Zebasai, but Zeb is actually going to bomb right back in here. He finds Ash. Duatna goes down to Stark, but Duatna was able to get Zebasai. The Uber was forced. It's just Blaze and Shade, though. They have to run all the way back. Starky is actually in behind them at the moment. Took a really hard rocket there, but the rest of Nerd Rage just continuing aggression. They're trying to cut them off right here. Shade just so little health, 15 health. Tech is going to bomb in, finish off the 2 players that were trying to leave. They got Shade. Will be some advantage here for Bull to work with.
Yeah, that was great stuff by them. This time it was Froyotech that left a little chink in their defense, and Nerd Rage exploited it perfectly. And that bomb from Zebasai cleaned up a ton of players. They got the far better end of that last team fight, and then the chase from Tech was beautiful to manage to pick up Shade. Now they just need to slowly spam their way out. They've done a lot of damage to Blaze and Banny there, but Tech has gone down. They should still be fine. They've almost got this Uber charge up. They just need to make sure that they get it.
That's the key here. Don't want to have anything wacky happen to him, though. Banny looks like he's poking around here like he wants to bomb up and try and take care of Bully. Is going to force it out of him. Just barely got that Uber off with just 20 health left. They actually have Flippy back there on the point. Blaze saves it just barely. Starkey's going to try and come in as well, maybe. He's kind of stuck in behind them now. But, yeah, Banny will finish that one off. So they got the force out of Bull. All of Nerd Rage really has backed off here. They're kind of towards the choke. Froyo is looking to push out now.
They didn't know what to do with that Uber charge. Oh, Zebo's gone all the way behind. He's going for a back cap, actually. He's just going to jump straight onto the point. He's trying to cap it off. He will actually get it.
Yes.
The back cap from Nerd Rage. Great stuff by Zebasai. He exploited a hole once again, and he's able to get behind Froyo Tech. And another EU gimmick coming out there to set them off at 2-2. Nerd Rage and Froyo Tech. 20 minutes remaining. It is anybody's game. Look at the aggression from Blaze this time. He's on about half health, but Rip hasn't been able to tag him with a sticky. He has left the health kit open, and now Banny goes aggressive. Stark is the first casualty. Blaze again bombing in. The double soldier aggression from Froyo Tech. So good. But Zebasai and Flippy have managed to... Oh, look at that double dunk from Duana. Great stuff. And another one. Another double dunk onto Flippy. Crazy stuff from Duana. He's able to time them so well. Great amount of damage, and that really forced Nerd Rage back. And if he hits another one, they may have just won this completely, but Flippy, sneaking behind there, is able to get shade, and that should really seal the deal for Nerd Rage. The Froyo players, the best they can hope for is to try and get aggressive onto Bool.
They are getting the respawns now. Both teams are. Nerd Rage has control of the mid, at least for the time being. They have those heals. Froyo can't really push in all that much. They haven't capped the mid yet, but they're going to take care of that right now. Nerd Rage has a full Uber to work with too, which they are starting to move with through IT. They're taking their time moving through here, though. Tech is going to lead the charge. They have Rib following up shortly behind it. They might just decide to go straight into them here. They're getting the spam out. They haven't had to use it. They're still just poking around here. Tech getting juggled around, though. Hasn't gone down, but they're just going to move right in the lobby here. They got that second point. They're forced to pop the Uber off to save Tech, and he will try and see what he can find on in here. Rib comes flying in. There is a heavy up. Ash is on that. Rib goes down. Flippy's down. So is Epicide. They've lost 3 already. Tech will be a victim in that fight as well. It's a disaster for Nerd Rage. Stark is behind, but he gets spotted out. Actually won the 1v1 with Banny, but I don't think he can find too much else.
But that's going to delay
here.
them for so long. Look,
Yeah.
all of these players have to stay around, and that really might allow Nerd Rage to recap the point because they know that players are so far back. There's only Clockwork far ahead, and that Stark's the only person not to get the spawn. Nerd Rage decided not to go aggressive onto it, though. Instead, oh, they do have Flippy on the sniper. That will stop them going too aggressive. They just need to wait for a pick from him. But
Froyo's got a full
Shade,
Uber, too.
Yeah, Shade has that full Uber charge. They wouldn't mind Flippy dropping him. That would be all right for Nerd Rage.
Yeah, I'd take that. You know, not too bad. Actually, Zebasai is in on the Shade. He got that force as well, though. That's excellent stuff. Be able to get that. They were so far back, too, Froyo Tech was, so they weren't really able to do anything with that Uber. That's going to leave Bull with about 60% advantage here, so. But Froyo looking to continue to push in towards this choke point here. Big bomb onto the point from Banny.
Great
Blaze absolutely destroying Bull. And now that is going to give Froyo a little bit of traction here. They lost Tech as well. Nerd Rage has, and Froyo is in total control of this second point, though they do have a back cap going.
Oh yeah, there is a back cap going on right now, and Flippy's stuck behind as well, using that SMG to duel with Ash. I think he might actually get the frag here. Oh, Stark comes in to help him out. Banny gets the kill on Flippy, but Stark's still hanging around behind. That might be a bit of a bad situation for Nerd Rage to find themselves in if Stark can't help them with the defense. But he's hanging around on the mid. He might end up just spawn camping Ash. It looks like that's what he's going for. He's going to hide there. We'll see who comes out better. Ash going to be taking the longer route to mid, but he didn't spot him at all, I don't think. He's still just playing around.
Down too. Oh no, he picked up the health back though. He got a really good meat shot in the Clockwork, but he was able to grab that health back. He wins the 1v1 with Stark. And now Froyo Tech is still waiting. Flippy actually got Ash with the body shot. So that's a nice return frag, at least to slow up Froyotech a little bit. They have an Uber. Nerd Rage is about to come up on theirs as well, but they decide to pop this one straight on in. Flippy gets Clockwork with a headshot. The counter pop comes out of Nerd Rage. They have a much better Uber, so Froyo is going to have to back off here, at least for now. Blaze gets caught in by Rollout, thanks to Tech. And now Nerd Rage has a couple of picks here, so they are definitely looking to recap this second point. Tech in for a big bomb, trying to get Shade, but unable to do anything with that one. He's very hurt. He'll have to back off, but Nerd Rage will at least recap second point here.
Yeah, they're going to be able to stack that. There's 15 minutes remaining. The score is still 2-2. It's been really back and forth. But they need to shut down these Froyotech soldiers. They're doing so much work for them. Clockwork and Blaze on the flank. Potentially a pick if Zebasai and Tech shove into there, but now they've disappeared. And we've got the same situation. Froyotech love to hold all of their players kind of clumped up around the choke point, with occasionally one or two going into PC. Flippy would be able to get a good line on if he was sniper through the choke area, I think, but Froyotech are playing it so aggressively. Here comes Blaze in for a really big bomb. He really hasn't been oh, there he goes. Denied by Stark. Just shooting him with that hit scan, keeping him propelled in the air, and Blaze's rockets unable to do anything. Nerd Rage escape unharmed. And now, are they going to send somebody in? Are they going to attempt to spam their way in through the choke point?
I don't know. Well, let's see if they go for that. Yeah, that counter sack. It looks like Zebasai is going to, well, he tried to go in for it. He saw there was a whole sea of Froyo guys right in front of him, so counter sack not going to happen from them. Both teams still have this Uber. They kind of just been hanging around. We still have 14 minutes left on this map here. Nerd Rage absolutely needs to win this one if they want to stay in it. Is the upper bracket finals, and Banny comes in to maybe see if he can create a little bit of space. Actually, Blaze now coming in for the big bomb. Got a huge rocket off onto Bull, but couldn't quite get that force out of him. He milked it.
Clockwork's in around Bull. He just shots him in the back and takes down Bull. Bull drops that Uber charge. Clockwork snuck in whilst Blaze and Banny were distracting. Comes all the way in. He's taking the 1v1 against Stark as well. Now he's pressuring Rib. Takes down Zebasai. He's going to take Rib as well. This is insane from Clockwork. He's unstoppable.
Gets a drop, and then, what was that, three more frags after that. The guy is an animal. Tech is trying to make something happen. He kills Clockwork in revenge, but it doesn't even matter. Clockwork is the one that had the last laugh there, really, as now Nerd Rage is down 2. Froyo wants to push this one in. They have so much momentum there after those plays. They want to take a 3-2 lead. They popped this Uber in. There was a little baby sentry up, but I thought I heard it anyway. They're still trying to get these picks here on last. Rip very hurt. He's going to go down. Zebasai only has 5 health. Froyo had lost a couple of players, but Nerd Rage is getting their respawns here. So unsuccessful push from Froyotech. They're still poking around into this last at least. Clockwork goes in, takes down Zebasai, and you see Froyo, they're still poking around in here. They have a couple player advantage, but Flippy's getting some good damage out. He's actually able to take down Clockwork here. Stark is taking a 1v1 out on battlements. That's against Ash. He will win that one as well. So Nerd Rage holding it off at least for now, and they have an Uber to push out with.
They do indeed. Tech and Bull going to be moving from this rollout area, but Tech's been juggled to pieces. I think he's going to attempt to take an arrow and maybe escape or something. No, he's going to meet up with the Uber charge. Here they come. They're going on towards Shade, but Shade just milking it forever there. He almost has a full Uber to work with, and Rib's gone down. Thankfully, the rest of Nerd Rage have managed to flee the scene. They might not get caught here by the Froyo Uber. It was so far back, but they're going to be moving forwards now. Stark's still got his sentry up on that. Oh, he's just rebuilding it, actually, building that sentry on the left-hand side. So they're expecting Froyotech to push off Uber potentially. Clockwork running around in the lobby, looking for an opportunity to open things up for his team. 11.5 minutes. The score's still 2-2. If Froyotech take this map, they are through to the grand final. Nerd Rage really need this. They need this defense, and then they need to come out strong. Otherwise, they're going to be sent to the losers bracket, and they have to battle their way up from there.
This is very, very important for Nerd Rage. Cannot stress that enough. They have an Uber now. Shade is just about to come up on his as well. So there's still plenty of time left here. It's been one of the tightest games we've seen so far that somebody's put up against Froyotech. It looks like Blaze is working in towards Shutter just a little bit here, but both teams a bit cautious. It seems to really make some of these first moves. That sentry gun is still up from Stark, and Zebasai is going to get Clockwork. Maybe just a sack in there to try and come up at, but Zebasai now is going to be on Spy. See maybe if he can make a big play. It is risky.
He's not taking any damage so far. They don't know that he's there. I think he's using the cloak and dagger because he's crouch walking around. His cloak ran out for a second there, but nobody spotted him, I don't think.
Oh, my.
And he spotted that Clockwork's running sniper as well, so he's got a lot of info for his team anyway. And I don't think Froyotech are expecting this at all. Flippy gets that shot onto Watner, and they may have a spy pick in just a few seconds as well. Zebasiah's coming up behind him. Oh, he gets a sub on Ash actually instead. I think Ash just walking away for a split second. Instead of Shade's back, he plunges his knife into Ash's. The scout pick not quite what he was looking for, but it's going to delay Froyotech for a little while. Maybe they'll push off that anyway. They'll probably just wait for Clockwork to get a sniper pick though.
Yeah, he's getting his buff. Looking around, but man, I so thought he was going to get that stab on the Shade. Just dodged it last second. He had the best opportunity I've seen so far for a drop with the backstab. But Zebasiah aggresses on the Clockwork inside a lobby. Will melt him with a couple of rockets, so they do have at least that pick maybe to work with. I think Zebasiah is going to get traded out here. Ash got him down in the lower lobby, and Flippy's still aggressive with his sniper inside of the lobby, seeing maybe if he can get a pick, but now Banny's creating a bit of room to stuff him out of there. Froyotech has made full entrance now into this lobby, but still have not gone in for a push. Banny's poking around, maybe seeing if he can spam out this sentry. Stark is trying to keep it alive. He's also very hurt, though. And if they can get that, they might decide to push off of it, but still, Clockwork looking for a pick, at least, to get us started here.
And Stark keeps rotating his sentry round from position to position, trying to keep Froyotech guessing as to where it is. But when they eventually decide to push, Clockwork takes a rocket there, but almost saw Tech's head for a second. Did he hit him with a fully charged body shot or something as well? Tech's very weak, but hasn't found that frag yet. Still just rotating the sniper around. He keeps seeing people for a split second, but hasn't landed a frag on anyone quite yet. Zebasiah was able to take him out quite easily before, but he might end up falling prey to it. Clockwork's playing it very patiently, just rotated from door to door, getting an angle. He's now going to peek out on this right-hand side, see if he can see anybody. He hits Flippy for a fully charged body shot, knocks him down to about 10 health, but it's going to be Tech getting that frag. Are they going to push with it? I think Nerd Rage are content here just to hold and allow Froyotech to keep throwing themselves against the brick wall of their defense. Oh, here we go again.
Wow. We're going to take a second crack at it, it looks like, though. He decides to come through a rollout. He's narrowly dodging this spam, but he is going to come out here and see maybe what he can find. He's just crawling his way through here. Take a second crack at getting this drop on Shade. So
well, he sees where he's gone. He knows that he's gone into the lobby area, but he's uncloaked right in front of the scout. And is that going to cue the push out of Froyotech? It looks like it is. Let's listen to their team comms as they move forwards here. Oh, no, they're not. They're not. Oh, they are. Let's listen to the team comms.
Oh, my goodness. Well, forget the team comms there. That was a massive shot that he just hit. And now we are going to see Nerd Rage, at least. They're trying to move right back out here. That was a big pick, though. Clockwork is actually still in behind. I'm not sure if they're aware of it. Oh, Clockwork's going to come in and try and take this 1v1 with Zebasiah. He's getting the shots. Somehow Zebasiah holds it off just in time. But that was almost a fantastic opportunity for Clockwork to get a back cap. Nerd Rage gets second, and they will now move themselves up into mid as well.
An absolutely crucial pick from Flippy there on the last is going to give them all the way, all of that territory all the way up to mid. And they'll be looking to push in with this Ubercharge advantage into second. No crazy off-classes from Froyotech either, just sticking with the cookie cutter. And it looks like they're moving in through PC here, Nerd Rage. They're coming up the ramp and going in with this Uber. It is Tech leading it here. The Uber charge is popped off. Nobody from Froyotech, but Tech's going to push in from that. Oh no, he saw the position of the Froyo players and decided they should just take the point instead. But look at Shade's Uber. They're about to push back out here, and Nerd Rage may get caught on the second point.
Now they need to be careful here. They are about to get crushed. Froyo looking to come out of lower there. They drop to Atna, though. Tech was able to find that frag. They pop this Uber off. Zebasiah goes down, but the rest of Nerd Rage, for the most part, has gotten themselves out. At least the combo. Flippy may get caught out by Blaze, potentially. Looks like he will narrowly escape here, but Blaze is just about to come out, actually trying to make a play onto Bull from IT. The rest of Froyo definitely looking to keep up this aggression here. They've made their way through choke. Banny's creating the space for them, and they are backing themselves out continuously. Nerd Rage is Froyo just continues to aggress, but they are up on an Uber right now, Nerd Rage is, and they want to try and stop this mid cap if possible. They are coming in. They're going to get forced by a bombing Blaze, and they do stop the cap, but they're not really able to find too much other than a pick on the Clockwork. That'll leave Shade with about 60% Uber advantage here to move back into the mid with.
Yeah, it definitely will, and the Uber charges from Nerd Rage really haven't been that successful. They haven't been able to get the ground that they need. Whereas Froyotech are really, instead of leading with the, oh, there's the frags though onto the flank, and that's going to open things up for Nerd Rage, even though Froyotech have that Uber advantage. There's a back cap going on. Zebasai is on the Spire, and Froyo have popped off their Uber charge. They all have to flood back here for Zebo. Great stuff by him. Fantastic. And Shade goes down to Rib as well. This is going to be a collapse from Froyotech here. All of Nerd Rage managing to pick up those frags. Only Blaze and Clockwork. The spawners alive, and they're not going to be able to stop Spire. Looks like we might have a last push very soon as well as Bull gets his Uber charge. Where are they going to go? It looks like bottom left is the entrance of choice. Stark's already in, picking off Blaze. Gex, this could be Nerd Rage taking the lead.
It could very well be. They've made their way in now. Blaze is down. There is going to be a heavy coming up. That's Duatna, but they do pop this Uber off, trying to stuff them back into the spawn. Ash will respawn. They're so close on this cap. They just need to stand on it, but Nerd Rage losing players left and right. Bull going for the Uber Saws. Tech needs to make an absolute miracle play, but it's not going to happen. A largely missed opportunity there from Nerd Rage. They just had the Uber on the point. They needed to take it off. I didn't see any stickies there, but that will be Froyo narrowly holding it off, and we will still be at 2-2 with 3 minutes and 45 seconds left here.
Yeah, this is getting so tense now. Nerd Rage had an opportunity there, but instead of pushing people back with the Uber charge and then trying to cap the point, they just put the Uber straight onto the point. Look at the Clockwork's coming behind, the entirety of Froyotech coming behind. Nerd Rage can potentially wrap around, but Clockwork's been fragged there. Zebasai really weak. Instead of wrapping, they just chose to block them out on that PC entrance. Blaze and Clockwork down. That to me sounds like an opportunity to push, but Nerd Rage taking it a little slower. They're actually going to meet in midair there, Banny and Tech. Banny takes down Bull, and Tech has got nothing.
Oh, Flippy taking
shot.
out Shade with the headshot. That is a big return frag onto the medic, though Zebasai, Flippy both go down. Nerd Rage with only 3 players up at the moment. Rib is getting out through choke right there, but still just under 3 minutes left here to go. Froyo is going to be capping up on this mid. Actually, Stark is behind on the second point. He's going to at least delay a little bit. He was going for a back cap, so he delays the rest of Froyotech that had to go back. Now Nerd Rage is going to get a little bit of entrance here. Maybe into the mid they decide to back off here and just build up this Uber. They'll be trying to hold second.
Yeah, the decision there from Clockwork to stay capping the mid as well was the only thing that kept Froyotech the mid. They realized that they didn't need him, and now the bomb in from Blaze is going to put quite a bit of damage on everybody, soften them up. And Flippy, Bull, and Rib all on half health here. Blaze going to be able to get out as Everside trades for Banny in the meantime. But it's a 4v5 in favor of Nerd Rage. They might try and take this forwards. They do have an Uber advantage as well because Shade went down quite a bit after Bull did. But they're taking this forward. What a nice pipe from Rib onto Ash there to secure the frag onto that scout. And they really want to drive this one forward. I don't think they realize they have the Uber advantage. They're not playing aggressively with it. They're allowing themselves to be bullied back by Froyotech.
I don't understand it. I mean, they still had a pick on him, and here comes Blaze right back into the choke. He's going to take down Tech. And definitely a missed opportunity from Nerd Rage. They're back onto the second point. Shade is getting his Uber up right now. Nerd Rage has fully gone back to last right here. And Froyo is going to grab this second point. So we'll see how they want to try and push it. No off classes from Froyo at the moment. And if you take a look over at Nerd Rage, they have Stark building up a sentry, and as you would expect, Flippy is going to be up on Sniper as well, seeing maybe if he can get a pick, but Clockwork is able to find him. Froyo's trying to push in, though they have to deal with this sentry gun that does get taken out, but Clockwork was demolished by that sentry just before the Uber came in, so they're working around up top, but Banny gets taken out by Tech, who jumps up top, and the counter pop finally comes through from Nerd Rage. They milked it for long enough, and they will pop it off here. All of Froyo inside of lobby, and Nerd Rage looking to aggress just a bit. But Froyotech staying strong inside of the lobby. Nerd Rage not gaining the ground that they need, and they'll just sit back at last for now.
And with only 40 seconds on the clock here, Nerd Rage cannot win this outright. Froyotech are going to be pushing for the victory, though. They want to make it 3-2. They've managed to pick up Ash and Dewantner, though, and that's not good for Froyotech. They've only got 28 seconds, and it doesn't look like Froyo are going to be able to do it. They'd be in a 3v6 situation. Flippy going down makes it 3v5, but only 20 seconds remaining. They will have enough time for one Uber charge if they get Shade and a few players in there. They're going to use the Uber charge into last, actually. Their only chance is to stack the point, I think, before Nerd Rage get to it, but it's not going to happen. There's only 5 seconds left. I think we're going to a golden cap here between Nerd Rage and Froyotech. Yes, as Nerd Rage managed to secure all the frags on that last. We're going to a golden cap on the second map. Whoa. Nerd Rage have kept themselves in it, though.
They have. This is by far the biggest contest that anybody has given Froyotech so far. So we are headed into a golden cap. It's really the difference maker between whether or not Froyotech heads on to the grand finals or whether or not Nerd Rage gets a second, or actually a third crack at trying to go up against Froyotech here. If they do manage to do it, Nerd Rage that is, we will go on to Snakewater.
Look at those shots. That's such a good one by Zebasai as well. Oh my word, I didn't even see that one. How does he hit that? Flippy onto Shade. I mean, he hasn't been hitting many of them. He hasn't been going on insane sprees, but that one is just ridiculous. That shot there through that tiny, tiny little window.
Oh my.
Just unbelievable. We've seen some fantastic DM displays here today. It's just amazing. We're going to look at the logs after the golden cap, which should be going live very, very shortly here. The teams are probably just going to be discussing their plans, first off for the mid, and then for the rest of the round, because this is intense for both of these teams.
It really is, and this mid is going, it could determine quite a lot in this one here. You know, you don't want to get, you know, demolished on this one. You want to play smart, really, because if you get wiped on this mid, you're just absolutely screwed. So,
but then it comes to the same decision making again. Is do you try and go all out? Do you throw everything you can at it, or do you attempt to play it more conservatively and just fight a slowly losing battle? But we've gone live with our golden cap here in process. This is the upper bracket final second map between Nerd Rage and Froyotech, and it looks like Zebasai is of the opinion that you should throw everything you have at it. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work as Blaze takes him out. The return frag from Flippy, though, Gex.
And now they trying to work on this right-hand side. So much aggression coming out from Froyotech, though. Starkey and Tech both get taken out. Flippy was able to get one back before getting taken out by Clockwork, and Ash is pushing the issue here, trying to move into lobby, seeing maybe if he can find Bull here, but Zebasai comes in to save the day, though it's just Bull and Zebasai that are up at the moment. Nerd Rage is getting their respawns, but Froyotech at least won the mid that they actually still haven't even capped up on yet.
Yeah,
now
I don't think they will cap the mid before Nerd Rage try and recontest this. They didn't, no, actually, they've lost their demo man, so they're deciding just to hold here on second. They do have their Uber charge. It would be a bad decision to push into mid there without their demo and take that Uber v Uber. Instead, just deciding to sit on second.
Look at Ash.
Oh, hello.
This is some ballsy play here from Ash. He wants to go for it right here, right now. And we'll see what he can do with it. He is on Spy, in case you haven't guessed it yet. So he's going to try and work his way in through IT. Maybe get the pick of a lifetime to seal the deal for Froyotech. But
again, running the cloak and dagger, so he's going to be very slowly setting himself up in position there. At the moment, just at the bottom of PC, Zebasai's traded for Blaze, so I don't know whether Nerd Rage really think anything's going on. Froyotech have been playing this particular part of the map pretty slowly up until now. Ash has actually been spotted, though, by Stark. Stark's on patrol. Does find him not able to land the Ambassador shot onto Stark there. So there's a single pick advantage for Nerd Rage. And they're going to push with it, though.
And I don't know, they're poking around in the choke. Tech is going to try and open things up a bit. Got a good rocket into Shade, who surfed it off. And Tech now, very hurt, is going to get caught in that choke by a rocket from Blaze. So now they are down Tech, and they're also going to lose Flippy as well. It's time for Nerd Rage to get ready to back up here. Blaze did get taken out, but Nerd Rage is down 3 players at the moment. They may just may get forced on this Uber here. Bull narrowly makes it out with having to use it. Got out on that shutter side, but Froyo is going to grab second here. And I don't know if they're going to just continue it straight on in here. They do have a heavy up now. Nerd Rage does. Flippy came up onto that. So FroyoTech getting their respawns. And we'll see how they decide to push this one on in.
Yeah, they've actually decided to switch Flippy over to Sniper as they realized that FroyoTech weren't going to push in instantly. Clockwork's gone in a mile ahead of his team. That's just a sack play. He's going to probably switch over to Sniper there. We're going to see Sniper v Sniper, but Zebasai's all the way in!
Oh, he takes down Shade. That is huge. Absolutely massive counter sack coming out from Zebasai there. And now they do have a full Uber advantage right now that Nerd Rage can work with. They're sitting on last at the moment. But
what a great play by Zebasai. He jumps in behind the FroyoTech players and shoots rockets behind himself up against the wall onto Shade, juggles him against the wall. And now, Blaze dropping in behind is going to find Tech and Zebasai on last to deal with. Fantastic stuff from Zebo, and Tech finishes off that frag. But Nerd Rage have popped their Uber charge out as well, and they really haven't found any frags on the FroyoTech players. FroyoTech starting to retain control of the Spire, but Stark has come in, got frags on Shade and Duatna. Only Ash and Clockwork alive. Are they able to sync up here and get all the frags they need? Very possibly.
Oh
They've got Flippy, they've taken down Rip, they're trying to come in on the Bull as well. They've great stuff from both of those two. Just absolutely working together in the best possible way.
Ash might be able to finish this off right here. They took it. The scouts together, but Nerd Rage gets the respawns just in time. The rest of FroyoTech wants to bring this in here and finish this game off. Zebasai and others will have to try and hold off the whole FroyoTech team storming in at them. I think Froyo realizes that this may not be their opportunity at the moment. They'll have to back off. Nerd Rage dodging a bullet
so
right
close,
there.
though.
Dodge it. Those scouts, Clockwork and Ash just took on the entirety of Nerd Rage and nearly won the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane what those two can do when they're literally holding hands and running around the map together. So much damage output, so much cleanup potential. But now Nerd Rage are going to take control of the mini Spire. Duatna is down, and they almost have the Uber charge. Oh, sorry, FroyoTech almost have the Uber charge. Nerd Rage might be able to get a cheap force out of them here now that their Demoman's down, and they can't really defend the choke point, but Blaze is in behind. Oh, the Bull got Bull down so weak, and he's only on 80%. He doesn't have that Uber.
Not quite yet. Shade still has his, hasn't popped it off yet. And Froyo's just sitting around in choke. Oh, Nerd Rage health isn't the best. Stark and Tech both pretty low here. Bull does have the Uber now. So Nerd Rage is sitting up in the choke. Zebasai is going to bomb straight in, and he drops Shade once again. Oh my goodness. Zebasai gets taken out. Tech and Stark both pick up a couple of frags here, but Zebasai is making some huge plays for Nerd Rage right now. Ash gets taken down by Stark here, just 2 players up from FroyoTech. Nerd Rage with all the momentum in the world right now. They're capping up on mid, and they will continue this on into second.
Yeah, but 2 drops from Shade, both from Zebasai, and they still have only just capped mid in the golden cap. I mean, FroyoTech are holding on to this with everything they possibly have. Even after the drops from Shade, they're really still trying to make it work. And it is so even between these two teams on Process. Banny just hanging around on that. Zebasai's in once again. Finds Shade for the 3rd time. That one not a drop, but a great pick onto the FroyoTech medic. And Bull's just about to get his Uber up. Look at Clockwork though, trying to go for that flank. Oh, they shut him down very nicely there in the PC. And now it's on Nerd Rage to really make this Uber charge count.
Zebasai has got Shade's number right now. Totally. He's 3 times in a row now. Zebasai has taken out Shade and dropped him twice, and it's just massive, massive stuff. It's allowed Nerd Rage to finally get to this point where they can cap up onto second. They have some huge advantage at the moment to work off of as well. So they're sitting with their full Uber, and they're moving their way into lobby. This could be the opportunity for Nerd Rage here to seal the deal on this game. Ash has a sentry up, and Nerd Rage starting to poke their way into last. They will pop the Uber off, trying to send Flippy forward. Rib gets blasted up. They do take down that sentry gun. No frags as of yet from Nerd Rage, actually getting Duatna there, which is a big one. And Nerd Rage finishes it off. They win in the golden cap, and they will send it to a 3rd and final map here in the upper bracket finals. What a Golden Cap round from Nerd Rage there. You couldn't have asked for a better game.
It was absolutely insane. Look at Zebasai there. We've got a few clips of him coming in. Oh, getting such fantastic picks onto Shade again and again. And that's such amazing Soldier DM in this match. That's so good. There's the fantastic drop that got them out of last point as well. Fantastic stuff from them. Amazing plays from Nerd Rage. But even after all of that amazing plays, they only just scraped through on a Golden Cap.
And that's what worries me.
Yeah.
It worries me. It took that much to beat Froyotech in just a Golden Cap. They had to throw everything at them, everything they had in their power, and they just narrowly squeezed it out. I worry about it going on to Snakewater. They have the momentum, but can they keep that level of play up right there?
They absolutely need to if they want to take this map. It could be Nerd Rage in the grand finals here, despite Froyotech's absolutely dominant performance all the way through this LAN. Nerd Rage have an opportunity to take it away from them, and they potentially can. That's the first map that Froyotech have lost at this LAN. Previously, when they played at I-52, they lost 2 maps. That was all they lost throughout the entire event, and they were only in the group stages. All the previous winners of the I-Series have only dropped a single map apart from Froyotech. Wow. I mean, the teams that win the I-Series are historically very dominant. And Froyotech, they've drawn once so far and essentially have drawn again and then lost the Golden Cap. Yeah. I mean, that wasn't an outright victory. It was a victory. It was a map loss for Froyotech, but it was so close. It's just going to be insane this last map.
Oh, my goodness, man. It is all out there now. We have... for those of you watching at home, the focus, and for those of you watching at home too, there's a massive crowd that has joined us at least to take part and watch this final game here. It's attracted quite a bit, and with good reason, because this is by far the best game that we have seen here at these World Championships. So we are heading on to Snakewater now. It's our third and final map. Determines who is going to go on into the grand finals, who gets knocked down into the lower bracket and has to claw their way back up through. But we are going to try and get some stats up for you guys so we can see exactly how that last game turned out, at least stat-wise here. You can see it up on your screen. What do you think about this here, Sideshow?
Just having a scan through it, it looks like Ash going 13 for 15, only hitting 184 damage per minute as well. It was a fairly low damaging game because it was so back and forth. I think no team was hammering those victories home, but it's another great performance from Benny. I mean, 21 for 13 with 317 DPM. He's top damage on the server. Tech, though, performed very well as well. 19 for 13 with 313 damage per minute is a very good performance from him. Really, it just came down to the individual plays, I think. Stark didn't quite get a grip on the match as much as perhaps Clockwork did, but Flippy was playing fairly well on that scout role as well and had some really clutch moments. I think for Nerd Rage, it really did come down to more clutch moments than actual... maybe even cohesive team play. I mean, they were relying on individual talent to bring them through in that in the final stages of that. Although they do have a good base to work from.
Yeah, and that's the thing, that Froyo doesn't need to necessarily rely on that individual talent all the time. They have such good teamwork and cohesion that they just bring it together all the time. But still, like I said before, it worries me that it took Nerd Rage that much. 2 drops from Zebasai plus another pick in that Golden Cap and just making huge plays like that.
And the headshot in on Shade as he was pushing last. I mean, they saved a lot of opportunities where it could have gone very badly for them, but they managed it.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they can keep that level of play up right there, because it is going to take a lot to take Froyo down on Snakewater, but they at least pushed the issue and forced this third map, so we get some excellent TF2 here today.
We do indeed. So we're going to be moving over to Snakewater now. I mean, that map, it does allow a bit of sniping on it. It is possible to get some good snipes. The last point, typically quite difficult to push, but because it's so wide open and you can get in on the left-hand side fairly for free, depending on where the teams are holding, it allows you to play it slightly differently. You can try and push it in and get a few picks. You can try sacks. You can try quite a lot of things on Snakewater last that we perhaps haven't quite seen yet. So it'll be a very interesting one to see how it works. But the other interesting thing will be how they perform on mid.
Yes, performance on mid. That's another big one, because we saw at first Froyo, they were doing quite well with winning the mids on process, but Nerd Rage kept themselves in that one as well. So, you know, we'll have to see who can come out on the better end of those mids. But for right now, we're just waiting. I don't know if these players are taking a break. We're trying to figure it out as we bring this to you. So I'm hearing that we do have a 5-minute break here before we get this third and final map started. I guess everybody needs a breather after that last game.
After that intense game. But what we're going to do is we're going to get a raffle going to you guys as well. I'll shout out that Twitter raffle that we've got going on as well, which is for an Australian rocket launcher and 20 keys. All you have to do is guess Clockwork's damage over the course of all 3 of these maps that we've played in the upper bracket final here. So that's Viaduct, Process, including the Golden Cap, and Snakewater. Now, combined damage for all of those. You can enter as many times as you like. If you right until the end of the map, right until the end of this map, you can continue sending in those entries. Just make sure that they have the hashtag I55TF2 on them as well. And check out the other raffle that's just gone live as well, the Scrap TF raffle. That's scrap.tf/TFTV. It's up on your screen right now, scrap.tf/TFTV. And that is for a butt ton of keys, it looks like.
Yeah, we just brought it up here. It does look like a whole lot of keys. So definitely get yourself in that one. Why not? Get some extra stuff to bet with, maybe for some of the matches later on. And
perhaps a slightly biased raffle, given that Gio the American is running it, because he's titled it Froyo to win. So he's definitely a Froyo Tech supporter. But I imagine as well that a lot of the European crowd are looking for Nerd Rage to come through, and the people on stream will be split maybe 50-50, but it's just going to be an intense game either way. And I think it would be insane if Nerd Rage managed to knock Froyo Tech into the lower bracket. After the performance that Froyo Tech have been putting up recently, that would be unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And I really, I don't know if this is bad for me to say because I'm from North America, from the U.S., but is it bad that I want Nerd Rage so badly to win this game? Is
no,
that
that's
going
not
against
bad.
my... Okay.
That's not bad. We'll accept you as one of our own.
Yeah,
no, I think it would be. I think because it's a classic underdog story, really, isn't it? Because Froyo Tech have been performing so well. They are the defending world champions. Everyone wants to see them knocked off their pedestal, even just for a moment, even if they come back in the grand final, and they are fantastic once again. And the grand final will be fantastic, whatever team manages to work their way up, because we still have some other teams in the lower bracket as well who will be battling with whoever loses this map for the right to play in the grand final. This is a double elimination tournament. Arx and Beta are going to be bringing you some of the rest of the games later on as we have a look at the rest of the double elimination bracket, moving on to the grand finals, the consolation final and the grand finals tomorrow. But it's just going to be a series of intense games. And starting off with this one, I mean, you can't get much more intense than this. The best European team at this event so far against the best American team at this event.
Yeah, and it might even be a precursor to the finals. Who knows? With the way these guys are playing right now, it seems like it could very well be that way. So you know, we'll have to see. It's looking that way.
Absolutely. So I think we're going to go to a very small break here as the teams are just getting ready and getting sorted. But we'll be back with you with the action for our final map in the upper bracket final, CP Snakewater, in just a few moments' time. Froyo Tech versus Nerd Rage. Snakewater coming right up.
Well, we are back. We are about to get into our third and final map here on Snakewater. We are live from the Ricoh Arena here in Coventry, England for Insomnia 55. It's the upper bracket finals, and we just saw an absolutely amazing game, didn't we?
We just saw some fantastic maps. We just saw Viaduct, which was really closer than the score would indicate, but then Process was so incredibly close. I mean, you could not separate the two teams apart from by Golden Cap and by some insane individual performance plays, particularly by Zebasai, just had Shade's number completely on that Golden Cap and went huge for Nerd Rage, and they managed to secure that Golden Cap. So the series is tied 1-1, and it all comes down to this.
Yep, final map here, CP Snakewater. It's the first map, process was the first map that Froyotech has dropped during this whole tournament, throughout the group stage, during the knockout stage, anywhere. First time they've lost a map. So Nerd Rage coming up big when they needed to here, and they will send it to a third and final map. So we should be getting started with that here very shortly.
The question is, can they do it again? Can they take it to, can they make Froyotech drop another map, the second only map of the entire event here that Froyotech will have dropped? They did draw to TLR in the group stages, but it's going to be so difficult for them to pull this out on Snakewater, I think.
Yeah, and that's the thing we were saying before the break, in case you weren't here, is that Nerd Rage had to pull out just such ridiculous plays in order to win that golden cap. I mean, it was really big individual efforts, and we kind of fear that, keeping up that kind of play will be very tough, and, time will tell.
They have to do it, though. They absolutely have to do it. Nerd Rage have to play at exactly the same performance level, or even higher. They perhaps have not even reached their peak yet.
Maybe.
They haven't hit the skill ceiling, but I think Nerd Rage, Flippy really hasn't been on fire, and he occasionally can be. That would be a whole new skill ceiling, but I don't know whether he can really sort that out just for the final map. We'll see. But in any case, they will have to be absolutely on fire, the entirety of Nerd Rage, if they want to take this map away from Froyotech, because it's going to be a tough one. This one wasn't actually anybody's pick. The way that the map system works is that each team bans a map to start with, then each team picks a map, their home map, then each team eliminates yet another map each, leaving the last map as the decider. So in a sense, nobody picks it. It's not anybody's home map, but both the teams are more comfortable with it than any of the other maps. So I don't think anyone really has an advantage on this map. I don't even know really how Froyotech play on this. All I remember is kind of typical Froyotech style, being a little slow on this, but I don't even know whether we're going to see that. That might be quite an outdated opinion.
Well, that's the thing, and you're going into such a big match too, third and final map. I mean, I feel like anything could come out at this point between these guys, because you have to pull out all the stops when it comes down to a match like this. You will do anything that you have to do, change up your style, whatever it is, to win this map, because it's definitely the most important match that both of these teams have played in so far in this event.
It certainly is. Whoever wins this map is going on to the grand final of Insomnia 55 tomorrow, and the other one has to fight their way through the losers bracket with the other teams still in the competition in order for the right to play in that grand final and have a chance at winning the prize and winning the title as well, which for a lot of these guys is more important. They just want to be the best team in the world after winning Insomnia 55. Let's take a look at some of the stats of the teams, Froyotech and Nerd Rage. Hopefully we'll have that working. I did bring it up on stream by accident just a minute ago, so hopefully we get this working. There we go. Fantastic stuff there. There's Team Froyotech and the stats for them throughout the course of this competition. So the stats are there, and the numbers in brackets are their position in terms of rank order. So you see the Banny is #1 for KD as a soldier, #1 for KD, #1 for DPM. Duwatner is #1 for KD, #1 for KAD. Shade, #1 for KAD. I mean, it's
so many
insane.
ones. So many ones, these guys. I mean, it goes to show just how dominant they've been as well. And it's thanks to those guys right there. I mean, as well as the whole team, but I mean, those guys particularly have been doing a lot of work.
And these statistics were collected before this upper bracket final started. That's why Shade has 0 Uber drops, but that is a statistic that has been climbing up a little bit throughout this game. So they're ever so slightly outdated just by the last 2 maps, but these were accurate for before the game started with Nerd Rage, and Froyotech. Let's take a look at Nerd Rage and see how they stack up as well. Here's the lineup for Nerd Rage that we're going to be seeing in this final map of Snakewater. Stark actually #1 for KD on Scout, doing very well. Average kills 22 for an average deaths of 13, so playing very well. Flippy playing a bit more of a passive role, really not as many deaths as the rest of his team apart from Bull, but not very many kills as well, maybe not engaging with getting those cleanup frags as well as the rest of his team.
Not quite as all-star type numbers as Froyo had. But, you know, regardless of that,
Solid
and any
across
of these
the board.
stats, yeah, still solid across the board. And regardless, what matters is how these guys are playing in this game. You know,
Absolutely.
stats do tell a story, but I mean, it's totally different here in this game. And Nerd Rage is very solid across the board, as you said, and they are you know, playing quite well right now. It's just a matter of keeping that going. So we'll see. We should be starting it very soon here. Snakewater is our third and final map. So
Yeah, I'd just like to, if you just have a look at the team stats at the bottom there, if we have a look at Nerd Rage's and then compare them over to Froyotech's again, you can see the average DPM, average kills, average assists and things. So if we have a look then at Froyotech, you can see that the stats are really a little different. The team is just playing better as a whole. The only player really who's dropped down the standings in comparison is Blaze, and I think I'd agree with the stats in that situation, that Zebasai has been playing a better roaming soldier than Blaze. I don't think this has been Blaze's land particularly, but yeah, it's working fairly well. So that's enough of the stats for now. We're going to be going live with the game very shortly, I think. I believe they've gone live in real time as well, so in less than 60 seconds we should be going live with our third and final map. Froyotech versus Nerd Rage. This is the upper bracket final. The final map, it's all to play for here. The winner goes on to the grand final. I'm super hyped to have a look at these guys play.
this is going to be unreal. I want to see Zebasai keep that level of play up that he had in that golden cap because he was just absolutely unreal. The best, best roamer at the moment, at least. So we'll see if he can keep that going. But we are headed right into it here. Third and final map. As Sideshow said, winner goes on to the grand finals. This means everything for these two teams right here. And we're heading into our first mid. As you can see, Benny getting some high ground control here. Not the best on health at the moment. No frags. Blaze is waiting inside a kitchen to make his move. Ash gets Zebasai, though. Blaze will get taken out shortly after. Tech and Banny both go down, so the soldiers are out of it. But Stark goes down just after that. Froyotech looking much better on this mid here. Bull and Flippy both trying to get out. Bull is going to get hunted down here. Maybe if he can just get an Uber Saw off, not going to happen. A complete wipe of Nerd Rage, and Froyo is going to pick up mid.
Yeah, it was looking good for Nerd Rage there. They had the position across the point and they were pushing forwards, but Rib ran out of stickies, wasn't able to really make the most of it when it counted, and Clockwork and Ash teamed up at the end there just to cause utter annihilation onto the Nerd Rage squad. And we do have a small pause here right at the beginning of the game. The cams on the teams there just showing what they're up to during the pause, just kind of taking a chill, discussing things with their team, getting ready to play.
You can see that look of, let's just look how serious he is right there. I believe is that Flippy
That's
right
Flippy,
there?
yeah, that's Flippy on
right
the
there.
end. It's Stark that you can see in the checkered shirt as well. Zebasai just behind him. Rib with the excellent posture right at the end. You see Rib sat up there straight as a board.
He is.
Yeah, he's never going to have any injuries from gaming. Absolutely.
No hunchback or anything.
Yeah, fantastic
there.
posture. Whereas Banny's kind of slumped. But that's nothing to do with his mental state. He just always plays like that. So, yeah, those guys just getting things sorted, and they'll get back into Snakewater straight away. But, yeah, that first mid really was a good one from Froyotech because they managed to keep Ash and Clockwork fairly well healed throughout the entirety of it and really close together as well. And when you have both scouts playing together in that kind of situation, if you're both shooting at the same things as scouts, it just melts before you. You're just tearing down the players as soon as they pop up. The focus fire is so great when both of those two players are working together in a team.
Like you said before, I mean, I thought Nerd Rage was really in it. They had the exchanges on the soldiers. Both soldiers on Froyo and Nerd Rage were out of it, and it seemed as though it could have been an even fight, but eventually Froyo just completely collapsed on the Nerd Rage players. So that allowed them to pick up the mid. And now when we get into the unpause, Shay didn't die either. So in theory, they should be able to just roll straight on through into last year if they do some truly textbook TF2, because Bull did go down right at the end there. So Froyo, off the start of this third and final map, is looking to be in excellent position to take a round.
Yeah, Bull will get his spawn full last, but he won't have his supercharge anywhere near. I think Stark has spawned on heavy already to try and defend the last there. I'm not intending to put up any kind of defense on second at all, but it looks like they're having some technical issues with the servers. The other teams are also mentioning the same thing, so hopefully that's not a server-wide issue for the entire LAN, because that could mean delays just when we don't want them, just when we're getting into the most hype moment of the event. But there is an unpause here, so we'll see what happens. Nerd Rage going to be setting up on their last bulls, only just now spawned and starting to build up his Uber charge, but they are just defending last. They're going to have a full setup, a full defensive setup here for Froyotech. They're going to be prepared for it. But, oh, Flippy running sniper as well on that right-hand side. See if he can get a pick.
Yeah, something big maybe right before they come in, but Froyotech is just gearing up for this push now. Looks like they want to come in on the shutter side. At the moment, they will just pop this Uber straight on through here, sending Clockwork forward. He was trying to focus down Stark on heavy there. Flippy actually gets Duatna. A big pick for Nerd Rage. Clockwork was able to get tech though. Blaze quite hurt, but they're focusing the point just a bit. Nerd Rage still has some players up to defend this, but Froyo is only down one. Now actually Banny's going to fall, but Ash and Clockwork doing some work here. It's a 2v2 fight. Shade and Blaze still in there, but Blaze is going to get taken out by Zebasai, who picks up a 4K there with his rockets. They hold off the last point, and that will be now Nerd Rage coming back out onto second.
And it's just fantastic play from Zebasai. He's playing that role so well. He's really come into it as Roma over the past few fixtures, really. And he's playing so well this LAN. He's providing a great asset to his team in terms of cleaning players up and making sure that he's in the right situations. Flippy's still going to be running sniper as Froyotech try and contest this. Blaze flying through the air, but does get two frags there onto Rib and Flippy. But this was the time at which they were having issues. Froyotech takes control of the second point, and they're getting ready to push into last. Bull, Zebasai and Tech really the only people getting ready to repel this, and they have a crit in about 5-7 seconds. Tech jumps miles away though from his medic, and Bull gets taken out. The Nerd Rage squad are going to be very hard pressed to defend this, and I think Froyotech will be able to take that first round here.
They do take it a 1-0 lead. They just got caught out on that second point. Blaze bombed in and just got two quick frags, and then I believe it was Stark that got trapped in, and then Duatna just finished him off with a sticky. They lost 3 players. Froyo rolled straight in. Easy pickings for them, so now Nerd Rage see if they can get themselves back into this one, as Froyo has that 1 round lead at the moment. Start getting some high ground up on the Nerd Rage left side roof, but also you have Flippy and Tech up on the right side there. Banny's going to do the same thing. Blaze actually coming in for a bomb. He gets juggled a bit. He will actually be taken down. Got some good damage off one of the players of Nerd Rage, but unable to secure a frag. Rib is down. Clockwork and Blaze both out of it here, as well as Zebasai is coming out. He's going to try and hunt down Shade, and he is able to find that one. That's a big pick for Nerd Rage, and Starkey picks up onto Banny at the end there as well. So
Ash
great mid from Nerd Rage.
Ash is coming in from that kitchen area. Oh, instantly spotted there by Zebasai. Zebasai hits him for 100 damage. Great mid from Zebasai once again. I was watching Banny as well, but he wasn't quite able to have the same impact he's had previously. His bomb was cut short, and he just whiffed a few of his rockets, unable to really connect with the people from Nerd Rage and swing the tide of that fight. Ash and Duatna were the last players alive there. Duatna manages to escape, Ash goes down, but they'll all be up for this last defense. And Ash is running the engineer, building that sentry up in the left-hand side, but Tech's coming with the Uber charge now, Gex.
They are popping it right in here. They have an opportunity to tie it up. The sentry gets taken out right away. They have a little bit of time onto the point. They are securing a couple of frags. Blaze, Duatna, Zebas, Earl, they're all going down here. Nerd Rage destroys them on last. They're going to tie this thing right back up at 1-1.
They are indeed. Nerd Rage have managed to tie it up. It looks like they're having no server issues either anymore, so thankfully that has been resolved. We're going to be going to our third mid. We've ticked 5 minutes off the clock now, and it is dead level. Duatna and Rib going to be exchanging stickies across the point here. Neither of them tag each other at all, just setting things up for the aggression. Who's it going to be to initiate here? Looks like Froyotech are just going to be playing this a little more passively, but here's the double soldier bomb. Blaze and Banny moving forwards here, but Stark's got the better end of Blaze along with Zebasai. They've done a lot of damage to Tech, but everybody else on Nerd Rage fairly healthy. Zebasai's in, leading things forward. What a rocket onto Shade there to take him down, and that's going to open things up. But Froyotech are going to go aggressive, try and equalize the heal advantage just by playing as aggressive as they possibly can. And Nerd Rage forced to back up a long way here. They might even give Froyotech the mid before pushing back in.
They do have full advantage at the moment. Bull was able to stay alive, and They're going to try and work their way back into Saw right now. There is some traps in there that they need to be careful of. I think Tech may have spotted those out. Indeed he did. So he'll clear those as they get ready to push out here. We'll see if they get forced by some good spam. They haven't had to use quite yet, so they're just pushing across the point. All of Froyo is still hanging around inside of this mid. Clockwork is going to come out of kitchen though and see maybe if he can find something. Stark shut him down though. Blaze comes in for a bomb as well, getting a good rocket off onto Bull, but still not forcing that Uber. Froyo is down 2. Nerd Rage will at least be able to recap this midpoint, but Shade will be up on his Uber here very soon.
Yeah, and I think that was a good trade for Nerd Rage, really. Zebasai is in. He really wants to go aggressive here. I think he wants to try and get the force out of Shade so that they get a better Ubercharge trade, but they are down 1 from start. This is really aggressive play here from Nerd Rage. No, I think they must know that the Uber charges are equal, but Zebo's in all the way, manages to take down Ash. He's going to play around that health kit as well, drop on Duwatna possibly, but the Ubers have been traded as well here. Tech moving things forward with Banny, but Blaze is in behind, straight onto Bull as soon as the Uber charges fade, and we're going to have a very scrappy fight here, but Flippy and Stark underneath are going to attempt to collapse onto people. Here comes Tech as well, but it still could go either way. Froyo Tech actually swarming around their med a little bit more, playing the heals well, and Nerd Rage not able to win that team fight without Bull's assistance.
Well, they now have to back up Nerd Rage and just have Zebasai actually hiding inside of kitchen at the moment. Oh, he could make a brilliant play here if they're not ready for it. Normally at this level you might suspect something like that. Actually Blaze is coming through that way, so he has caught onto it, but he is going to try and make this play onto Shade, getting some rockets off, but just couldn't quite get him knocked down to just 31 health. But Shade managed to stay alive there. That would have been a huge play once again from Zebasai, but just couldn't quite seal the deal. So Nerd Rage is back on the second point. Froyo has the Uber. He's still going to be waiting for Nerd Rages to come up quite yet as Froyo just makes full entrance in through that flank side. Flippy is up on Sniper. We'll see maybe if he can grab something, but he's just so low on health that he can't really get a good angle to peek out at. But Nerd Rage does have this Uber up now, and Nerd Rage is also setting up for their last defense here.
They are indeed. Here comes the Uber charge through the shutter door. Banny's going to lead it forward. They managed to flash 4 people in that. Tech's got a solo. He's going to manage to find Clockwork. I don't know whether he's going to find anybody else though. Froyo scattered very, very quickly out of there. Zebasai's taking a ton of damage as well from Duwatna. Is going to go down. There goes Rib as well. Tech all down here for Nerd Rage. Not looking good. Froyo Tech are going to be pushing in again from the shutter door and are going to attempt to take the lead and make this 2-1. Blaze jumping in, trying to get the frag. Oh, there's an Uber saw from Bull onto somebody, but for a moment there it was a wipe, and Froyo Tech make it 2-1. Let's listen to the Nerd Rage comms on this mid, see how they want to approach the round deficit.
Yeah, they're really bad at it. Shouldn't have been so aggro. Shield. It's fine. They baited us.
Yeah.
I'm on right side. Taking on left now. 1 point. Got the right. Demonic 30. Demonic 60.
Donne aggressive 50. Let's jump to demo. C'est leur top left.
Jumping now.
Yes, stop left.
Right. I'm down.
Demo weak, mid
Leave.
weak.
Out. Scan point. Out, sir. Sorry. Never out.
They're bombing.
Chasing. Putting it.
So Nerd Rage not quite getting control of that mid. They sent in the double soldier bomb. I think Tech got rocked by an air shot there as he jumped in. And they got down Duwatna and Shade really low, but couldn't finish those frags.
As soon as those 2 soldiers died, you could hear them say, out, out, out. They knew they needed to leave, and this time, Banny and Blaze both go down on the side of Froyo Tech as they attempted to push into second here, so it's an opportunity for Nerd Rage to move back through with this one. There are some sticks right outside of Saul that they need to be careful of, but Flippy is going to go down to Clockwork here, who's actually all the way behind them at the moment. He's on to second. That should pull Nerd Rage back. They have to go and deal with him. Stark is trying to get it. Zebasai is going to come in and finish him off, but both teams with this Uber at the moment, they're also both down a player. Nerd Rage was slowed up by that play from Clockwork, so it's just going to be a stalemate for right now. Lots of spam being exchanged over by Saul, but still no frags as of yet here. A lot of Nerd Rage players in on this Saul room, getting the damage out onto Banny and company. Still no Ubers yet. Ash gets taken out. Banny goes down as well to Stark, who's managed to pick up 2 frags here. That forces Froyo Tech back Meat shots are real here as now Nerd Rage gets a little bit of room to push into mid.
Yeah, Stark spamming a Nox bind of Go Casino. I guess that's Nox's way of saying that he was very lucky in that situation. But on 8 HP, what a shot from Zebasai. Once again, another one onto Blaze. Fantastic stuff there to rock them up in the air and just deny him completely. But they have lost Zebo and Rib in this situation. Duatna and Blaze fall, but there's only 3 players alive here from Nerd Rage, and they aren't in a great position to take the fight. What a rocket from Tech. Rocking Clockwork's mind there, and Tech and Stark want to come back in.
They do. They want to continue to push the issue here. Tech is going to follow Banny down into the flank. No, Tech quite hurt, needs to be careful. Banny also very hurt at the same time here. Did get to take an arrow, I believe, and back up to meet up with his medic here. So Froyo will be able to get some sort of a hold here on second. Uber's relatively even. Nerd Rage just ahead by about 10% or so. Flippy is up on Sniper as well to see if he can find something to break this stalemate, but so far here, there it is right there. Flippy's going to grab Clockwork with a headshot, so we'll see how Nerd Rage decide to continue to push in here. I don't know if they're content with just that scout pick.
Second time does his Zebasai, manages to get that jump, but unsuccessful bomb from the roaming soldier of Nerd Rage. But it was not a wasted opportunity really, because Zebo will respawn in 5 seconds time, and they've still got that sniper on the field who can continue working angles for them to attack. That's a lot of damage there gone on to Banny. I think he got stuck on the wall or something, because the movement there from him was pretty dreadful, just eating rocket after rocket. So Tech gets the better end of that exchange. Flippy knocked down really weak as well, but still going to be looking for an angle. I don't know whether they want to push off that pocket frag. It is a big advantage for them in a team fight, but they've waited a little too long now if they really want to make use of it. Zebasai and Blaze going to be trading blows in the sawmill. In the meantime, Nerd Rage have come forward across grass. They're turning around to deal with Blaze, actually. They managed to isolate him, and Flippy gets a frag on Clockwork as well. That's a flank down.
And Shade getting dropped by Rip the Pipes. And there it is. That's going to be Nerd Rage able to move forward here. Excellent opportunity to tie things up right here. They have a full Uber, only 2 players up on the side of Froyo Tech. They pop it in just to be safe, but it's only Duatna up right now. They just need to focus this point, but they are coming back out here. Froyo getting some respawns. They might be able to hold it off in time.
That air shot! An unbelievable air shot there from Tech onto Blaze, and just so high up in the air. Bull's going for the stabs, actually. He's really trying to take him down. He's still alive on the point. He's managed to get a saw there, but dies in the end. And Nerd Rage didn't focus the point. They didn't stack the point with everybody that they had, and threw away their best opportunity to tie that up. It's gonna be so long until they get another opportunity like that. What an amazing pipe by Rib to drop Shade.
And now it's Nerd Rage trying to scrounge something together here. Oh my goodness, Zebasai absolutely destroyed by Duatna there. I thought it would be easy for him to grab Duatna, but not the case, and that is so unfortunate for Nerd Rage. I mean, they just went in and sat right by the shutter doors to spawn instead of just standing on the point. I don't know. It's definitely
and they locked off the
missed.
wrong spawn door as well. It's a bit of a 50-50, but everybody from Froyo Tech came out the opposite spawn door, the one on the left from their perspective. Flippy again working a very tiny angle here, but somebody's just about to come into view. Oh, moves away just as somebody was about to peek their head through. And maybe Banny will do him the honor of poking his head around there. They are going to be building on that right-hand side. He's somewhere around there, and Clockwork is going to come into the same angle. He's charging up a body shot. Oh no, actually Flippy has dived down onto the bottom area, going to be sniping into lower. He's expecting a bit of aggression, but he's seen Blaze, his team making room for him now as he grabs a buff, and they're just going to rotate until they get an excellent frag from Flippy. I think they're going to play this very slowly.
Stark is poking around on the left-hand side here. Blaze is going to come over and just eat Stark alive.
I think he got a lot of good intelligence there, though. He worked out exactly where they were. The info for his team is invaluable, and it doesn't really hurt his team that much if he's dead. They're not looking for an immediate opportunity to push. Might hurt them a bit if he goes down at the same time as Flippy, though, and Flippy is going to die on that bottom area. Zebasai trades for Banny. doesn't hurt them too much, but it allows Clockwork to get so much room. He's just waltzing out there onto the ramp area. He's trying to find an angle onto Bull. Hits the headshot actually onto Tech. Misses one onto the Scout of Stark, but hits the next one. Great work by Clockwork. Gonna miss the next one, but it's the people from Nerd Rage really need to be focusing him down and making sure that he can't extend through those choke points.
And now you still see both these guys have the Uber. Actually, Nerd Rage forced to pop it off, and they're not really anywhere near Froyo. Actually, they do force that Froyo Uber, and they're going to just come straight back out, though. All of the Froyo players. Flippy is still in, actually behind, though Clockwork is watching that point. There's also a sentry back there as well. He's not going to be able to go for any sort of a back cap. Flippy goes down to Banny, but that is going to be, it's interesting here. Actually, Nerd Rage down 3. They're sitting in the flank. They're just going to have to back off into the mid now.
They've got both their soldiers alive of Zebasai and Tech meeting up with Bull there. Zebasai's hanging around in that sawmill area. Banny's going to attempt to go in the window, misses the jump, but Blaze manages it. Zebasai's miles out of there now, though, but look at Froyotech moving up here. Banny's going to make a jump and just pressure people back. They're playing the slow game of attrition here, and Froyotech is winning, slowly pushing them away, gaining ground inch by inch. And Froyotech going to take control of the mid. The Uber's equal, going to be up in about 5 seconds for both of the medics. Shade and Bull going to have their Uber charges, and we're in the opposite situation where Nerd Rage going to be defending the second point, and Froyotech trying to get a pick.
Zebasai is going to go down. They're having a battle inside a Saw room right now. There's a lot of spam back and forth, but here comes a bomb in from Blaze. He's going to drop Bull there with some big rockets now. That's 3 down on the side of Nerd Rage. Froyotech has a full Uber here. Tech trying to get in to force Shade, but he surfs it above the roof, and he's able to keep himself alive, not use that Uber either. And now Froyo will have a great opportunity to push straight in here. I don't see them doing the same thing that Nerd Rage did just a short while ago with such a good opportunity. Full advantage. Nerd Rage did get some respawns, but they are going to pop it off here. They could take a 3-1 lead right here. They have a lot of time down onto this point, though. Player advantage even here. Actually, it's a 5v5 fight. Blaze goes down as well. Nerd Rage holding it off for right now. Banny's still in on that point, getting the damage out, but he goes down. So Froyotech actually unsuccessful on their push on the last as well with full advantage. And now Nerd Rage will be able to regain their composure here a little bit after some hectic fighting.
Yeah, they have between a 25 and 30% advantage, Nerd Rage. They're probably going to want to at least peek out with that, but look at Stark. Stark's the player to watch. Oh no, Flippy's the player to watch perhaps. They're running 2 pick classes, but Stark's the one who's putting more on the line to get his picks.
Did this before on Process too. They did this sniper and spy play at the same time here. Stark was very close. I believe it was Stark last time. Oh my goodness, he's narrowly dodging. Here he comes in, takes down Shade. Beautiful movement from Stark, getting a big pick on the Shade. And now that is going to be a 5v5 fight, at least for now, but Nerd Rage has those heals. And they will have full advantage here as well, Nerd Rage.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be pushing out here. They need to watch out for the Froyotech players who are hiding around. Ashid's underneath. There's a bridge outside, and Banny's hiding in the cheese area. They need to make sure that they control these, otherwise there could be potential for a back cap. Somebody from Nerd Rage needs to push out bottom and make sure that they see him. Nice play by Tech to be able to identify that, but Banny has got behind. He's found Flippy, and it looks like Clockwork is in there as well. They're taking fights against Zebasai on the last here. Zeba's doing a decent job, but Tech comes in to help him out, and they should be able to do this. It's Clockwork versus Tech. They do manage to do it, but in the meantime, while I'm not looking, Nerd Rage collapse.
Oh my, good shot from Tech to hold off Blaze, but Blaze finishes him off. Stark and Flippy need to come out and save the day here. Flippy's able to get 1, he gets a second as well, but Shade getting the arrow to finish off Flippy. That might be the cap, they jump on it. Last second, Zebasai saves the day, holding Ash off the point. That is very, very intense stuff there. Nerd Rage dodging a bullet once again. In this
great
game.
1v1 there by Stark against Clockwork. He was incredibly weak. Clockwork had a great meat shot on him at the beginning, and then they were both just dancing around each other. Stark manages to finish him off, showing he can go toe-to-toe with the very best, and Clockwork very probably is the very best. Here comes Banny's Uber charge, though, along with Blaze. They've managed to pick off Flippy. Bull doesn't quite have it yet. Another 10 seconds, actually, until the Nerd Rage medic has his Uber. but they've managed to scatter fairly effectively, and Tech did a lot of damage to Shade there as well, so I imagine we're going to be seeing a repush as soon as Flippy spawns and they have that Uber. The defense is up here. Blaze gets rocked in the air. Zebasai can't quite hit that air shot this time, but the Uber charge has been popped out of Bool. Somebody was getting a lot of spam onto him, and Stark on the heavy is going to pick up the only frag of that Uber, which is going to be Ash, and that's an opportunity to push out Mist, or nicely cancelled out by Froyotech, depending on your perspective. But now Froyotech have 75%, and they're going to be pushing in about 10 seconds. And they want to make this 3-1, and they want to cement their place, or at least further solidify it in the grand final.
8 minutes and 20 seconds left in this game here. It's getting down to the wire just a bit. Froyotech leading 2-1 at the moment. It's our third and final map of the upper bracket finals. Froyo pops his Uber in from that shutter side. Haven't focused the point quite yet. The sticks get dead. Clockwork's just standing on the point here. Nerd Rage finally floods onto it, but I did hear an Uber saw come off. That's Bull getting one, but now it's just 2 players up from Froyotech. They get the Uber off of that saw as well. And that will be just Shade and Duatna trying to escape here through the flank side. Nerd Rage holding off yet another push.
And what an insane
Froyotech.
clutch play from Bull to be able to get that slice and then the Uber to save the round for them. They're keeping themselves in it with everything they've got. The individual performance coming out of Nerd Rage is fantastic. Flippy rocks Banny there, and Blaze is trying to come in as well. Zebasai for the counter bomb onto Shade. Oh my word! What an insane shot there onto Shade. Zebasai has just been playing so fantastically well, and there's only one player left alive right now from Froyotech, and Stark hits him with a big meat shot as well. He's on a 4K. Zebasai's playing fantastically, and they are going to camp mid and look to push forward with Bull's 75% Uber.
This is absolutely unreal. This is frag highlight after frag highlight in this game. Nerd Rage looking good to get into second here. Froyo just got all their spawns up here. They had gotten a few forwards. They're peckishly holding the second point inside a lobby. Banny's going to try and come out from Chizo. Got one good rocket on a Bull, is forced to use the Uber. And they are going to try and storm it in.
3 frags for the Uber charge, in my opinion, completely worth it. They'll be able to roll this in. They don't even have to worry about Bull and the rest of the posse, because they're just swarming onto the point. And there it is, 2-2. They've managed to tie it up here with Froyotech in the third map of the upper bracket final. Nerd Rage are still in it, and there's 6.5 minutes remaining. Froyotech looking like they've lost a little bit of momentum, but they absolutely have the talent to pull this back on track. Let's have a listen to their team comms.
Double left side now. I'm there, kitchen. They're going road. Sorry. Solid
Still on left side.
Hold stop back.
One scat on the kitchen.
Left.
Top 60. Fall back, go guys, go guys. No.
They're weak.
Solar above us. Weak. Solar mid.
Double down.
Guys, stop it.
Help me, Sean. Behind him. Push.
Medic.
I'm coming back.
Scout kitchen.
And a great play by them to be able to get that mid completely, and you could hear the crowd screaming 90 seconds in the past. And there's like a time warp happening right before our eyes, but yeah, they can definitely hear the crowd, even though they're really quite a distance away, Nerd Rage, almost at the other side of the tent, and they can still hear the crowd almost deafeningly loud in their headsets. So they'll be urged on by every cheer. And
my Clockwork dropping Bull. They had massive advantage there, but that is a huge play.
Oh, Tech manages to go in.
And that's a big return frag right back on the Tech, though. And that's
exactly what Clockwork needed to do in that situation. Zeba with another nice frag there onto Clock, after Clock had done so well to get that frag onto Bull as they pushed in. That's what Froyotech needed to do to keep themselves in it. Stark and Flippy actually going behind for the back count. Flippy's on the back count. There's nobody there to block him. He's going to be able to take it.
3-2 it is. Nerd Rage taking the lead. They were down 2-1, and they have now taken the lead. 3-2, 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in this third and final map.
Froyotech may be a little rattled, but they have the experience to push through that. They are very strong mentally. They won't let this kind of thing get to them. They know that they are a LAN winning team, an I-Series winning team. Let's see how they perform on this next mid-fight. It went disastrously the last time. Clockwork's taking a lot of damage right at the beginning. Blaze is waiting for it. Ash as well, really weak. Dewan has gone down. Blaze rocked up in the air and then taken down by Hitscan. Things not looking good here for Froyo Tech. What a nice rocket at the end there to take down Banny.
Oh my goodness. Nerd Rage is looking absolutely fantastic right now. They are in total control of this game. They are feeling good. And with 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go here in the one-round lead, they could potentially send Froyo down into the lower bracket. But there's still enough time, certainly, for Froyo to get themselves back into it. Nerd Rage has pushed up. They're capping second point right now. They have it. Both teams have an Uber to work with here as well. So we'll see how Nerd Rage goes for the attempt of starting things off here. Blaze is actually having a battle with Zebasai down in the lower area, but Blaze narrowly escapes that one. Banny's going to get caught in a sticky trap, though, and Clockwork is also very hurt down in that lower area, but so far, Nerd Rage not deciding to work off of that pick onto Banny.
Yeah, then not going to push with that. Zebasai was really weak, so they didn't have a full team to really follow up. At best, they would have had Zebasai coming in with 100 health afterwards, so I think they just decided they want a better opportunity to seal this. It's going to be very difficult for Froyo Tech to push out from Snakewater Last, but that's what they're actually intending to do. They realize that the time is against them with 3 minutes remaining. They don't want to send this to, send themselves, to the lower bracket. Tech and Zebasai just rotating around on that bottom area, and Zebasai's in for another bomb, just making sure that they can't come out of cheese properly, but Ash and Banny have dealt with him very well. Stark as well getting rocked up. Oh, very close to being a double air shot there from Tech onto Banny, and the Uber charge is traded.
They are going to trade those off, as you said, and right now it's 2 players down from Nerd Rage. They may need to back themselves up here, though. They get a couple of return frags. So now it's a 4v4 fight, though. Some of those are respawns. Blaze comes in, takes down Bull. It's Flippy, who's the only one from Nerd Rage that is actually still in this fight, though. Zebasai's actually coming to help out the cause, taking down Duatna. He's going to grab Blaze as well as he gets a 2K. It's just Clockwork left here in the fight, and Zebasai finds him as well, picking up a huge 3K. And now Flippy has sent himself forward in towards the lobby here. Ubers are even, still waiting on respawns as Froyo. Flippy's hiding in here as well, maybe to make a cheeky play. A minute 50 though. Nerd Rage in excellent position as well.
They certainly are. At this point, they might just be thinking to knock time off the point, but Froyo Tech are not going to allow them to sit happy in control of second. Look at Tech though, putting so much damage around there.
Oh my goodness, Tech, that is unreal. Taking down Ash too with just some ridiculous rockets. Froyo, 2 players up. They have the heals. They are going to take this right into last here. I think this may just be it here.
If Nerd Rage take this, Froyo Tech cannot come back. If Nerd Rage take this, this is it. Froyo Tech literally have to wipe Nerd Rage right now and try and get onto it. Look at the passive play from Nerd Rage. They just want the victory. They don't even mind the round. They just want to make sure that Froyo Tech cannot win. They have that Uber charge as well. As long as nothing disastrous goes wrong, they might be sending Froyo Tech to the lower bracket. They're pushing into last. They're getting onto the point here. Clockwork has managed to block it actually with the help of Shane. There it is, 4-2. And Froyo Tech, after the best performance we've seen at LAN from Froyo Tech so far, they're knocked into the lower bracket by Nerd Rage. What an insane narrative for this LAN.
The mighty Froyo Tech has finally been toppled. It has been quite some time since we've seen a legit game of them being toppled.
It has been a ridiculous amount of time, right? Froyo Tech have played 6 LANs since they formed. They have never lost a best of 3. Nerd Rage are the only team to ever beat Froyo Tech at a LAN in a best of 3. That's an insane performance from Nerd Rage there. They've only dropped 4 maps before I-55 in their history at LAN. And Nerd Rage there have taken 2 away from them in a best of 3.
That is just unreal, man. The performance of a lifetime from Nerd Rage, totally flipping the history books on its head right now, and you can just see the look on Froyo's face, the shock
Yeah.
Really, I think sometimes they forget what it's like to be beaten.
Absolutely.
And they've just been beaten in tremendous fashion in 3 maps. Nerd Rage clawing their way back after losing on Viaduct, winning Golden Cap on Process, and winning 4-2 in extremely exciting fashion on Snakewater. You could not have asked for a better game.
You absolutely couldn't. That was an insanely good game there. So Nerd Rage are in the grand finals. Nerd Rage have booked their spot in the grand finals starting at 2 p.m. on Sunday, but we still have all of the lower bracket essentially to cover. All the best games of the lower bracket are there to be covered right now, and that is just going to be fantastic as well to see which of the top teams can claw their way back through the lower bracket and go to face Nerd Rage in the finals. It may not even be Froyotech. That's the crazy thing.
I know. I mean, it's very possible to beat them right now, especially after I don't know how they're going to feel after losing a game like that. I mean,
this is a completely new experience for them.
I know, and that's got to be very tough to handle. I mean, they are a world-class team, so you would expect that they can handle that. But still, I mean, it's been so long since that's happened.
They've certainly lost best of threes online.
Yeah.
They lost the best of 3 in the ESE final. The upper bracket final, in almost exactly the same situation. Ascent beat them in 2 maps in that upper bracket final. They were able to come back and absolutely destroy them in the grand finals.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't even close. It looked like a fantastic Froyotech performance then. They certainly have the ability to come back and win it all outright, but it's going to be so much tougher for them than it would have been otherwise.
Yeah, they're going to have to call up through the lower bracket now, and Nerd Rage has booked their spot into the grand finals here, beating Froyotech in 3 maps. It is just absolutely unreal.
Absolutely.
But, we are going to bring up some stats here, yes?
Yes, we're going to have a look at the logs from that game there of Nerd Rage versus Froyotech. We're just going to see about the performance from all of those players. I mean, Zebasai playing the roaming soldier there and getting 27 kills, 27 for 24. He actually top fragged on the server as Roma, my man of the match for not just that map, but for the entire series.
Absolutely.
His plays on Process, so good. He had some great plays on Viaduct as well, but Viaduct wasn't really Nerd Rage's map. Nobody from that team was particularly getting into it, apart from perhaps Stark. But Stark as well, having a great performance along with Flippy. They were doing very, very well there, the teams. I mean, just great play from everybody involved. If we have a look at the medic stats as well and how they looked there, Bull had 3 more Uber charges than Shade, despite having an extra drop. So Shade dropped once, Bull dropped twice. Bull's still able to get off 3 more Ubers there, and the heal distribution slightly heavier onto Tech than onto Bani, but otherwise fairly similar really. Zebasai took a fairly decent portion of the heals, but it was almost identical to Blaze's. It's just that Bull put out more heals overall, so a really interesting game. And a fantastic performance from both of the teams. I mean, Froyotech were playing really well as well. That's the thing. They didn't lose this best of 3 because they were sucking. They lost that best of 3 because Nerd Rage were playing really well.
Out of their minds. Yeah. Out of their minds. So, that is just unreal, man. I don't know what else to say about it. That's you couldn't have asked for anything better here. So I know we do have an interview coming, and we will bring that to you once we get it. But until then, I mean, this just totally flips the whole tournament on its head here, really, because I don't think anybody was expecting Froyotech to lose, and now Nerd Rage is in the grand finals, and Froyotech has to claw up through that lower bracket. So certainly things have been mixed up here in a sense.
Really,
and,
they really have.
Things awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody before the event had even started, you might predict Nerd Rage to take it in the grand finals. I personally predicted that they'd do very well against Froyotech. I thought that the way that they played counters them quite effectively, but I wasn't expecting Froyotech to be this good. So I thought that Nerd Rage may be having that slightly easier than expected, but Froyotech has been so solid. Their performance throughout the entire of the rest of the LAN has just been so dominant. Nobody else took them even close apart from TLR in that one game on Granary. And I think you can maybe say that could possibly be a fluke, but not now.
No.
The European teams have really stepped their game up, and Froyotech in the lower bracket. Can you believe it?
I mean, when's the last time you heard? I mean, I guess ESEA, but
On
Still.
Never.
Yeah, on
It's
LAN,
never
yeah.
happened on LAN.
And it's crazy to be able to say that. I was hoping
Yeah.
at some point we'd be able to speak those words on
Yeah.
this stream, and that's the case
Not
now.
because we have
can't-
anything against
No,
Froyotech,
it's
but
just-
it's just a fantastic storyline, isn't it?
Yeah,
for the
it
LAN?
is. It is because you've seen Froyotech just dominate the scene for so long,
Yeah.
and it's good to it's definitely a great story to see somebody
Yeah.
else come through and get to take the spotlight, if not just for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So they still have more hurdles to climb, Nerd Rage, but they at least have landed their spot in the grand finals, which will be a best of 5. So they're awaiting who they will eventually go on and face.
From these other
lower
teams
bracket.
who are playing, I don't have the lower bracket in front of me actually, but while we get that information sorted to you, and you can have a look at the previous VODs that might be on Team Fortress TV 2 for the other games that have happened in the bracket, we have an interview ready to go live for you guys right now.
Froyotech have ever lost. What are you feeling right now?
It feels pretty good.
Is that all just pretty good? Flippy, how about you?
Yeah, I'm quite surprised actually. I didn't saw that we could achieve some kind of score like that. So yeah, really good surprise.
So of course, you're knocking them into the lower bracket now. Probably, I think they're going to face up against their Reason very shortly. So best of 3. Let's go through it together. First map, Viaduct lost 2-1. What were you feeling after that? Of course, Viaduct, it doesn't seem to be like that much in the Europe side of things, but maybe it's because we're still quite new to King of the Hill, arguably. But obviously, you had some key battles sniping, but not that much, no. What were your thoughts after the first map, or how do you think that went, right?
We had issues with dealing with their flank. They got behind us too much, and we had worse Ubers as well. So it felt pretty bad, but you still gotta keep trying. It's a best of 3, so.
So did you, so before we leave Viaduct, can we start talking about that? Philippi, what are your thoughts on that first map as well? Were you disappointed to lose? Were you expecting to, I mean, how did you approach the game? Did you think, right, we need to win every map, or do you allow yourself to lose one map? Were you still quite high spirit after losing that first map?
For Viaduct, the big issues was as I had a huge FPS issues, so I wasn't able to snipe properly. So I just had to stick to scout, I think. But sadly, I just tried to snipe even if I had really big problems. And yeah, just for myself, I felt really bad for the first map because I thought it was going great for the beginning. And yeah, I was really pumped for the second. I was hitting my shots even with FPS drops, so I was confident for the second. And the team was following. They were just really happy to play really great in the second. So.
Well, thank you, Flippy. So as he alluded to then, so second map, let's forget about Viaduct, that's behind us now. Golden Cap win in the end, some great play by all of you, obviously coming back from behind to, in the end, draw it and then take that Golden Cap. Did you change anything differently to address that flank? Obviously, I saw your sniping was in great form, Flippy, some key kills, and Zebasai, I don't know how many medic picks he got in a row, but it seemed to be never ending. But did you change anything in particular, Rob?
No, we just played our game. Like, we're pretty good on Potions. We like that map.
Yeah, Zebo was absolutely huge. So yeah, he did the game on definitely on process. Tech was huge as well. Well, everyone played really well. So I guess yeah, it's because of everyone.
Well, I guess for some of our American viewers, actually, that could be one of the first times they've actually seen Nerd Rage play, apart from yesterday. And I guess that's a testament to your own teamwork, because I thought you gelled really well together. And I can't actually put any real individual person above the rest. I thought you had some great play by all of you, and that includes Bull all the way as well, because he fell back at the right time, used it at the right time, went aggressive at the right time, all really important for process. And Golden Cap win in the end. I guess that made the spirits really high before the third map.
Yes, it's very important to play like a team, and so that everyone is on the same page. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about Snake. I wasn't quite confident about it at the beginning, mainly because of FPS issues. So I changed my PC to Pumzilla's PC, so it was better. But personally, yeah, I was confident. The team seems seemed to be really confident as well. We tried our best to make some coordinate pushes to back when we had to do. Bull had an insane input into the game because of his main calls. He had some really great calls. And thanks to Zebo again, he makes some huge spaces sometimes, so we can go on the point easily. Stark is insane as well on Snakewater. He's just picking some scout duels sometimes really insanely with 1 HP or 2 HP. Yeah.
What I did notice, especially in process, is the fact that many years ago, our American friends came over, and I always found that they never let battles end. They would always keep throwing players in. They always keep throwing players in, and we had a hint of that almost towards that first round of the Golden Cap, the only round of the Golden Cap, that first mid-fight. I thought that wasn't going to end, and Froyo were just so aggressive. Do you think now that actually maybe they fear European teams a little bit more, they've got more respect, they don't keep throwing those players in, or is it a case of just everyone's a little bit smarter?
Well, they should fear us if they want to win, I guess.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, no, really, I don't know.
Okay, so let's move on to the third and final map. Snakewater, I believe you lost that first round, you brought it back. And again, coming to 2-2. And then, of course, pulling away at the end, final cap with those last few minutes to make it to 4-2. Pretty impressive team play again, holding on to those important points. Sebasai, and I must say, a few of you coming out with some big kills. When it was 2-2, what was going through your mind? I think it was 2-2 and we had about, 6-7 minutes left?
I actually thought of it as a golden cap, so I was really hyped for it. I tried my best.
It was really complicated to put the second point because it was 2-1 for a long time. They were failing their pushes, so we had some clue to push, some occasions, I would say. And we capitalized on that, and I think it made a difference. Like you said, they're really aggressive. We tried our best to counter them by being maybe a bit smarter. I don't know, but we achieved to counter the aggression.
Well, some things definitely fell your way. Some didn't. As you know, that's why we got to 2-2 in the first place. But even at 3-2 then, a few minutes left, did you change anything at all? Or was the standard approach to still play your own game and see what happens and then call it from there? Or did you decide to play more defensive, aggressive? I didn't actually see any use of crits at all, which Snakewater used to be so infamous from, especially on the choke points and mill room or still room up into that mid area. Is that because you run sniper more, Flippy, maybe, or just, I guess, take that advantage away?
I assume you was talking about when it was 3-2, right? Yeah. I guess it was because they were a bit weak, like they were maybe a bit. They was not really sure about the game. Like it was 3-2, so they had to make a big game to come back on the game. And I guess we played on that, and we tried to really get aggressive on them, and finally it worked really well. So I guess it's just that, trying to be as much as aggressive at them on the final time.
Any thoughts to further to Flippy's comments, Rybe?
We felt more confident playing defensive because we were up around, so they had the time pressure on them. So we tried to play it a little bit more safe on the 3-2 round.
Well, there we go then. You've heard from Flippy and Rybe of Nerd Rage. They will continue up through the upper bracket now. Coming up, we of course have our lower bracket game still commencing. So that will include Froyo Tech, also include Reason, and that will be coming up, I believe, at 3 o'clock. Stay tuned. I'll hand over to the, in fact, we're going to take a quick break before our next game. But thank you, Flippy. Thank you, Rybe. And we'll be back with you soon.